And welcome back to Champaign and the IHSA TV network. The 8A state title game to follow. We've had some really good games here today. A one-pointer in 5A. We just had the OT game here in Class 7A. And up next, 8A, Maine South, the defending state champs, taking on Marist, Lee Hall, Paul Parpet, Gary Corohonen. We are here for the final, the 8th state championship to be handed out here tonight. David and Sarah, a former colleague of yours, they came down here earlier in the decade, lost 3 straight state championships, finished second. Seems like Maine South, they're not here every year, but it sure seems like they are. And now they're going for their second straight state title under David and Sarah.
Well, I think that they're going to have a pretty tough bill to hold up to that last game that we saw. But Maine South is led by 2 outstanding football players, Matt Perez and Tyler Benz. Tyler Benz. Both of them are both offensive players and defensive players. And Maine South has a lot of experience coming back, and Marist is going to have their hands full with the Hawks.
Coach, tell us about Marist. We know they beat Joliet Catholic earlier this year. They've got a couple of losses in their column.
Marist has a couple of losses, but they did beat Joliet Catholic, and also they play in an outstanding league, which is the I'm trying to think of it right now, the Catholic
East Suburban Catholic.
East Suburban Catholic, right. Anyway, they run the no-huddle offense with they have a great offensive line. Mike Parrish, their quarterback, is just outstanding. He's only been sacked 9 times this year. He's thrown 329 passes for over 3,200 yards, 35 touchdowns, and they have a defense too. I mean, sometimes the defense flies underneath the radar. That is a great job last week, even in that Glenbard North game. Evan Natak, who averages 155 yards a game, was held only 40 in the second half. So they can play on both sides of the ball. And I think the big question that everybody's talking about right now is the health status of Matt Perez. Is he healthy? Is he not healthy? You've heard all kinds of rumors that he might be anything from a common cold to Lord know whatever, you know. But anyway, if Matt Perez is ready, it's going to be a great game.
All right, that's number 32, Matt Perez, for Maine South. Here's a look at the tale of 2 cities as we kind of look inside the lines, perhaps. Park Ridge is where Maine South hails from. Population 36,927 in Cook County. Enrollment over 2,500 in Central Suburban Conference. Marist from Chicago. It's a pretty big city from what we hear. Cook County, almost 3,000 students there. The East Suburban Catholic Conference, as we mentioned just moments ago. Marist 11-2. Maine South comes in with the 13-0 record, the defending state champs. We talk about Matt Perez, number 32. He's been banged up a little bit. We'll see if he plays and if he's at full strength. And there you get a look at the consecutive appearances, 18, 25 overall for Maine South, 45-21, 3 titles and 3 second-place finishes. Those all came in back-to-back years, 03, 04, and 05. Marist comes in maybe a little bit under the radar themselves. I believe they were 10th in the last poll. Maine South comes in ranked number 1. You talked about their quarterback, Tyler Benz. He was a wide receiver last year, moves to quarterback. He seems to have handled that transition very well.
Yeah, plus he plays outside linebacker.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, so he's a quarterback, and then he turns around, he plays on the edge of the line of scrimmage. But I think that Maine South's defense is going to have their work cut out for him, because Marist put up some points against a very, very talented defense over at Glenbard North.
Yeah, and I think also, you know, with Marist too, they're coming out of the East Suburban Catholic. Remember, Marist came out of the East Suburban Catholic, but so did Joliet Catholic. So we had 2 people down here from the same league representing the state championships. And as I said, they have an outstanding receiver by the name of Dan Pico, who has a lot of yards, and defensively they're led by Anthony Zool, Dave Perkel, Taylor Ventris, and Dan Durkin. Again, the defense flies underneath the radar because the offense gets a lot of publicity, and rightfully so, with their awesome passing attack.
Let's take a look at the big fellas, the numbers that will really count here tonight inside the trenches. Maine South, their offensive line has an edge there, a little bit heavier than the front 3 for Marist, so you give a little bit of an edge there. Marist, the offensive line, they've got about 20 pounds on the Maine South defense. Of course, the defenders are usually a little lighter and a little more agile, coaches.
Right, and I think that Marist is pretty excited to be down there, and Maine South has had the experience, and I think that Maine South is going to have to hold off the emotion of Marist and get into the flow of the game.
And I want to say one thing about Marist's head coach, Pat Dunn. He is only 28 years old. When Gary Carhone got the head job at Richards High School in 1972, and I had some hair, I was 31 years old, and they thought I was too young to have the job. Think of it, 28 years old, second year, and downstate. That's just an awesome achievement.
Yeah, well, he's going to get the full experience here tonight, going up against the defending state champs. Should be a good one. Marist coming in at 11-2, Maine South at 13-0, and we will have that game for you coming up next on the IHSA TV network.
Maine South is looking for back-to-back 8A state championships and perfect seasons. Unheralded Marist waited until the last second, literally, to earn their way to their second state championship game. The Hawks and the Red Hawks. Next.
Good evening and welcome back to Memorial Stadium on the campus of the University of Illinois in Champaign. I'm Aaron Bennett, and it's time for tonight's finale, the 8A State Football Championship game. It'll be the Marist Redhawks and their high-powered offensive attack back in the state championship game for the first time since 1986, going up against the defending 8A state champs Maine South, who bring a 27-game winning streak into tonight's state title game. Let's send it up top for the call. Jack McInerney and Dave Bernhardt, guys.
Thank you very much, Aaron. And Jack, I harken back to 5 weeks ago when we sat in a studio and announced the 8A brackets. And I think a lot of folks that may have been filling out their brackets that night would have penciled in, in fact, most people would have penciled in Maine South to get to the championship game. But other than a few loyal folks from the south side of Chicago, I don't know how many would have had Marist on there.
Well, I know I personally penciled in Maine South to be one of these teams down there. I would have never guessed Marist. And most people wouldn't, even halfway through the season. They started out winning their first three, lost their fourth, then they beat Joliet Catholic. People started raising their eyebrows. We might have a football team here. Then right after they beat Joliet Catholic, they go and lose the next game to St. Patrick. But then they started getting hot, and they've been on a roll throughout the playoffs. They've been a very tough team throughout the entire playoffs.
Well, and as Aaron said, it's Maine South that's been on a 27-game roll since last season when they went a perfect 14-0. Here's how they got here to this championship game this year with a 13-0 mark. First of all, a tight game against Oak Park River Forest to open up the playoffs. And after that big win over Leiden, 44-23, a dominating performance over Glenbrook South. Matt Perez running for 314 yards and 4 touchdowns. That semifinal game was tied at the half. Big game, though, for Tyler Benz, a quarterback for Maine South. He threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for another. For Marist, their trip goes like this. Dominating win over Schaumburg. An impressive victory over Naperville Central. Then it was a quarterback for Marist, Mike Parrish, who threw for 3 touchdowns in that quarterfinal game. And then the semifinals, Redhawks scoring 10 points in the last 4 minutes. Ben Falloon's 24-yard game-winning field goal to put them here in this championship ball game, the final second of play. I love getting to this 8A game because we get some great players. Maybe the best player in the state, and yes, he will play tonight. That is Rich Perez.
Well, I'll tell you what, he is one heck of a football player. He is the Sun Times Player of the Year. He probably will only be 95% tonight, but at 95%, that makes him about 40% better than most running backs in the state. He is a special young man. He's got great skills, plays both ways, but I think we'll only see him playing on offense tonight. 95%, but he is one special running back.
Matt Perez headed to Indiana. Mike DeVito, he's headed the other way after the big interception in the semifinal game.
Well, he brought him down here with that big interception. He's really been the hub of the defense. He plays center field at free safety. He's only 171 pounds. He's got great quickness, and he's got a real nose for the football. He is their go-to guy in the secondary.
Usually when we have Maine South in the championship game, we talk about a quarterback, and it's usually Maine South quarterback. Tonight, it's Marist, and it's Mike Parrish. What a great one.
He really is. He's a special quarterback. He's 6'4". He's got a great arm. He's thrown for 35 touchdown passes. You really can't mention his name, though, without mentioning Dan Pico, his receiver, with 85 catches. It's a great combination. Most of the receivers for Marist are 6'2" and above, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on the smaller DBs for Maine South.
When we talk about defense for these two teams, you usually ignore it because the offense has been so dominating. But if you look at the Marist side, Anthony Zool is a man who needs to be noticed.
Well, he really is. He's the catalyst for Marist. And the thing that that goes along with this is you can't get to this football game without great defense. You can have a real good offense, but you must have a great defense and a good kicking game. Both teams have outstanding defenses.
You know, both teams have great offenses, great defenses. They have great coaches. Dave and Sarah, of course, has been here 5 of the last 7 years, winning the state title last year. Pat Dunn for Marist. This is not only his second year of coaching, of course, it's the first year down here for the 28-year-old. Now, the question is, game planning aside, what about game day planning for these two coaches? Maine South has been here, first time for Marist.
Well, all they do is go into the file. They look to see what they did from the standpoint of Maine South, but for Marist, they haven't been here before. So what they're trying to do is, he made some calls. This is normally what happens with coaches. They start working their networking. They call guys that they know from their conference that have been down here before. They talk about the timetable. When should we leave school? How long a drive is it? How much time do we need to prepare ahead of time? Where's the locker rooms at? How long is the dress time? Those are important things when you're dealing with 16 and 17-year-old kids as far as their psychology and involved with their. So the coaches are always taking care of each other, trying to help each other out.
You know, we always talk about the Marist or the Maine South quarterback. Tonight we talked about Mike Parrish. A lot of folks think this game could be a 3.5-hour game because everybody's going to be throwing the ball around. Not necessarily so this year.
Well, both teams have a good running back, and the other part of it is they play the kind of offense where they really take charge. It's great balance for both teams. They use the pass very effectively, but they use the run even more effectively.
We'll get a look at all that, but first we need to check out those starting lineups, and for that we go to our public address announcer here at Memorial Stadium, Jeff Fritzen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups for the Class 8A state championship game. First, from Marist High School, Coach Pat Dunn. The starting defense for the Red Hawks. Defensive lineman number 54, Vince Maida. Defensive lineman number 78, Connor McHale. Defensive lineman number 72, Mike Ballmer. Linebacker number 51, Dan Durkin. At linebacker number 7, Anthony Zool. Linebacker number 43, John Hall. Linebacker number 34, Jack Hinks. Strong safety, number 5, Nick Dorgan. Cornerback, number 20, Dan Scholl. At free safety, number 25, Taylor Ventress. And at cornerback, number 24, Dave Perkle. And now for Maine South, first head coach David Insera. Now the Hawks offense at tight end number 1, Alex Romano. Right tackle number 77, Victor Nelson. At right guard number 51, Frank Coletti. At center, 65, Adam Mueller. At left guard, number 55, Mike Chakowski. Left tackle, number 56, Alex Chakowski. Split in, number 5, Kevin Maloney. Quarterback, number 18, Tyler Benz. Halfback number 32, Matt Perez. At slot back, number 8, Sean Zingsheim. And at flanker, number 15, Luke Motley.
Back in 1986, the last time Marist was in a state championship ball game, they fell to Buffalo Grove. For Maine South, the last time they were here was about 365 days ago when they defeated Hinsdale Central. Our keys to the game for the Maine South Hawks.
Well, they're going to have to put pressure on Parrish right up in the beginning. That front three is going to have to come after him. They'll be doing some stunning. The other thing is they're going to have to keep them off balance, and that's with Perez, and that gives him, even at 95%, they give them great balance to the fact that they can run and throw. And of course, that last one is not an arrogant statement, but it's, we've been here before, we have our composure, we're more comfortable in this atmosphere. It's an away game, but yet we've been here before.
On the other side for Marist, they have a tall task ahead of them, but these are their keys.
Well, they're going to have to pass. They're going to have to run more than they pass from the standpoint of the pressure is going to be on the receivers, and so that run game is going to have to help them. They're going to have to minimize Perez, whether they gang tackle him, whether they just take him away by putting 5 guys on him, and sometimes that's what it takes. He's just a special back. And the other part of it is they're going to have a real good kicking game as far as field position for them.
Ben Falloon is the man who will tee this ball up at the 40-yard line. He is the person who kicked that game-winning field goal. He'll also be the punter for Marist. The Red Hawks from Marist won the toss. They deferred until the second half. That means Maine South to get their hands on the ball first. And as we look down in the Maine South end, usually you would see Matt Perez back there to return the kicks. Instead, you're looking at Justin Zerwanka. As we were talking with Dave and Sarah prior to the game, Dave said Matt Perez is about 95%, but he's going to pick and choose his spots to use the All-Stater.
For you folks at home, it's a shame that you won't see him at 100%, but I think your eyes will be opened up if you have not seen him before. He's a real special back.
Down to the 8-yard line to Zerwanka. Some room to the outside. And more. Across the 40-yard line. 34 yards on the kickoff return from Justin Zerwanka.
And our last key to the game was about the kicking game. And of course, this is what puts them in a hole right now.
Starting lineups brought to you by Beggar's Pizza, voted one of the top 100 pizzas in the country. 16 locations, including downtown Chicago on Clinton near Jackson across from Union Station. For the Beggar's Pizza nearest you and free coupons, visit their website, beggarspizza.com. Beggar's Pizza, they lay it on thick. And it will be this offensive unit for Maine South to get it started. Tyler Benz, the quarterback, a 6'3", 213-pound senior, doubles up as a linebacker. And he will throw on first down or run. He can do both. He ran for 1 touchdown pass for 2 others in the semifinal win over Loyola.
Well, one of the things about having a 6'3", 215-pounder, he's been there before. There's a look at the defensive line that's going to have to put pressure on the quarterback, and also the linebackers are going to have to be keen on Perez.
Dave Perkle, the quarterback, number 24, all the way at the bottom. He has been outstanding in the postseason for Marist. A quick 9 yards on first down for Maine South. This is Perez. A first down before he's ridden down.
That's one of their favorite plays, is the show motion coming in one direction with flow, and it's just a draw coming back the other way, like a counter draw coming back against the grain. A very effective play all year long for Maine South.
Matt Perez rushed for over 1,900 yards, had 29 yards on the ground in the air, caught 30 balls for 391 yards and 2 more touchdowns. Total of 33 touchdowns all season. You combine all of his various duties. Up the middle before he is ridden down by Dan Pico, number 1. Pico will double up on offense and defense. 4-yard pickup for Perez.
Matt Perez, the ball carrier.
See Perez's numbers, 148 rushing yards per game. If Glenbrook South never sees Matt Perez again, even in a score somewhere, they'll be thrilled. He rushed for 341 yards and 4 touchdowns in a regular season, 314 yards and 4 more touchdowns in the playoffs.
Well, I'm sure they'll probably think he'll beat him to the checkout counter.
After that long kickoff return and a couple of good plays here on offense, Maine South in striking distance. Benz wants it all right now. Inside the 10-yard line, incomplete. It was Alex Romano. He thought he had the catch there. We'll take a look.
Truman's pass intended for Alex Romano is ruled.
Good job here by Tyler Benz putting the ball on the money. I don't know.
They will say he did not have possession or was out of bounds, but nevertheless a great thrown ball by Benz. Boy, he put it right there on the sideline.
And a great effort by Alex Romano.
Romano, a 6'1" senior, tight end, and now it's 3rd down and 6.
I don't think that defensive back isn't thinking about that for a while now.
Benz to Perez, and back they go. Number 34 is Jack Hinks, junior linebacker.
Number 34, Jack Hinks.
Now Marist knows that they run that sprint draw look and they come back up with a little counter draw off it, and it's been a big play for Maine South the entire year, and of course Marist was ready for that in that particular play.
The punter is Sean Zingsheim,
Sean Zingsheim, the punt.
averaging 33.7 yards per kick. It's a wobbler, a floater. And Marist will start their first offensive possession at their 15-yard line.
Well, that kind of got the butterflies for Marist out of their system to be able to stop the high-powered Maine South offense.
Here is the Marist offense, the offensive line that has done such a great job, only allowing 8 sacks this season of quarterback Mike Parrish. Of course, the skill position players. Talk about Parrish, he's headed to Western Michigan. McKinley Moore, an underrated junior running back. Then we talked about the receivers, Pico, Bella, Gorski, and Lundy. The lineups brought to you by Beggars. They lay it on thick. Mike Parrish, he had another one of the big quarterbacks that we have seen here, and a quick flag coming from the back judge.
Before the snap, we had a false start by the offense.
Our referee in this 8A championship game is Bill Laudy. He, along with Jay Lyons, the line judge, officiating their last high school football games. We take a look at the Maine South defensive line. You'll see a lot of common players here, a lot of people that will go both ways. We'll see how much Matt Perez is able to play. Luke Lenti, a sophomore brought up just for the playoffs, has been outstanding, and there are your defensive backs led by DeVito and Ronnie Muck. 1st and 15 for Parrish. We said stands 6 feet 4 inches tall. He'll come out firing, and Pico will make that first catch before he is ridden out of bounds by Cody Fallico.
Very safe throw, just a 3-step drop and a quick pass to their best wide receiver, Dan Pico. And Maine South will give him that all day long.
Pico with 85 catches this season, for almost 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns. Stands 6'2".
They've got a lot of good receivers, and they're all about 6'2". And you're going up defensive backs. Both corners are only 5'8".
2 plays, 2 passes. Catch made by Nick Valla. Valla be short of the first down, but he's up across the 20 to the 22-yard line. 8-yard pickup on the play.
Nick Valla is a 6'3" receiver, caught 52 during the regular season for 857 yards and 8 touchdowns.
You've seen Pico and you've seen Valla. That's where 2/3 of the receptions have come from this year, from the right arm of Parrish. One thing that Marist does, you will see they operate out of a no huddle, but they will look to the sideline. They're getting their plays on flashcards, a numbering system on the far side of the field. McKinley Moore, He goes nowhere, and at the bottom of the pile, Connor Klein was there. Klein, number 84, 6'2", 191-pound junior. That will bring up a punting situation. Ben Falloon to come on to kick for the Red Hawks.
Kind of an interesting scenario there. They get themselves in trouble, and then they throw 2 passes for completions, but no first down. They still come up 4 yards short.
Wind is at the back of Marist here in the first quarter. We're looking about 12 to 15 miles per hour. We've seen it have an impact today on the punting game. Falloon hits it. Pretty good kick back to the 42. North and south is not the direction that the punt return went. A 37-yard kick, a 2-yard return. It's Maine South ball to the 7:01 mark. Here in the first quarter, we have no score.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here tied 0-0 between Marist and Maine South halfway through the first quarter of this game. Now, this Marist team this year has found a great way to make a great story out of tragedy. Jack Callahan was a senior on last year's Marist football team, and he passed away tragically the night before his high school graduation. And this year's team has found a great way to remember him. They bring a bench out before the game and set it on their sideline. His younger brother, Kevin, is a junior defensive back on this team. The team also wears the number 68 on the backs of their helmets in honor of Jack Callahan. And joining me now is Mary Goretto-Balmer. She's kind of the team mom for this Marist team this year. And Mary, what have you seen about the way this community has really rallied around the Callahan family this year?
They have been our heart and soul. Jack has just guided us. The love, we've all been just one big family.
What does it say about the Marist community and kind of just in general about the people that make up this football team and all the parents and families around it?
That you can go anywhere with the heart and love of a family, and Marist is there.
Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Guys, back up to you. A great story here.
Thank you very much, Aaron, for bringing that to us. 5-yard penalty on Marist for encroachment. 1st and 5, Benz under pressure. Applying the pressure that time was Vince Maida.
Benz's pass intended for number 1.
Looking at number 1, Alex Romano. That was the player who the pass was intended for. And there is that bench for Jack Callahan.
Interesting story. There's a lot of interesting stories with all of these schools if you really delve into it.
A lot of life lessons to be learned beyond the 100-yard field. Benz under great pressure from Nick Dorgan. Romano can't come up with that one. Boy, how about Dorgan? Number 5 for Marist. 6'4", 205-pounder.
He's quite an athlete. There's the pressure right there. He just misses Tyler Benz. Now he has the mobility at 6'3", 215 pounds to make something happen. He's rushed for over 500 yards this year. Excuse me. Yes, 500 yards. And the thing is, with him, he's also an outside linebacker, so he's a tough kid. And he played last year in this game when Charlie Goro was a player of the year at quarterback and the most valuable player in this game last year.
In fact, Benz had 2 receptions for 33 yards in the championship win over Hinsdale Central. Little dump off to Perez, enough for the first down before he's taken out of bounds. We'll see where they spot it. It will be in Marist territory at the 40-yard line following the 12-yard completion.
He looks away to take the DBs to go in one direction, just dumps it off here in a little screen. Perez doesn't look too bad here running. I was kind of watching him in the pregame to see how bad that Charlie horse was, but it seems to be stretched out for him. He doesn't look that bad.
Interesting you're looking for the Charlie horse because Perez has played the last 6 weeks with a broken toe in his foot and a broken bone in his hand.
There he goes.
And he gets it now to the outside. Perez with speed. Does he stay in bounds? Nope, he will be run out of bounds, but that looked like a pretty healthy young man there. Matt Perez for 27 yards.
So he's the 3rd player that's been player of the year for Maine South. Last year, of course, for the player of the year in the Chicago area was Charlie Goro. And in 2003, it was Sean Price, their outstanding 2-year, 3-year starting quarterback. And this year, it's Matt Perez.
That's going to be another 5 yards against Marist unless somebody up front flinched.
That's an easy 5 yards. They don't need to give that kind of yardage to Maine South.
Encroachment by the defense.
It was a 1st down and 5 that enabled Maine South to dip into their playbook a little bit before they picked up the 1st down, and then the subsequent run by Perez, and now another 1st and 5. This one comes at the 8-yard line.
These are the kind of penalties that can really haunt you anytime in a ball game, but certainly in the red zone. If they're going to gain yardage, you want them to earn it.
Perez started right, goes left, keeps those legs churning, and down to the 2.
He's 205 pounds, but he runs like he's about 225 pounds. Shows great power, good trap right there. You can see the quickness that he has, and then he lowers his shoulder when there's nowhere to go, and he keeps those legs driving. Indiana's got a special back here. And the thing is, he's an outstanding athlete. He's a heck of an outside linebacker, although we probably won't see him tonight in that position.
Good lead block on the play by pulling guard Frank Coletti. This is Benz for 6. Tyler Benz with his 10th rushing touchdown of the year, and Maine South on the board first, midway through the first quarter.
Well, in short yardage, they do this with him. He just comes right off. Wherever Perez goes, usually you'll have a linebacker or two to draw towards him. So by Perez just running straight ahead, that draws that linebacker to that side up, and Tyler Benz just goes right off tackle. Nice block downfield by Kevin Mahoney. Walks it in.
The extra point is good by Marcus Nelly. And with that, it's a 7-0 lead for the Maine South Hawks. Look at Tyler Benz. He was holding his hip there a little bit. He may get a breather here on the kickoff. He'll be right back out there defensively.
Souvenir apparel is on sale here at Memorial Stadium. Look for the Minerva Sportswear booth under the East and West Main stand. You can choose t-shirts.
Our trivia question is brought to you by the Chicago Sun-Times and YourSeason.com, your ultimate source for Chicagoland high school sports. Here it is, the final of 8 trivia questions this weekend. In the 8 years of the Class 8A state tournament, has there ever been back-to-back champions? We'll get you that answer in a second. The silence is not Jack McInerney thinking about it. Jack knows the answer.
No, you could hear me if I was thinking about it. You know how my mind is.
Marist will get an opportunity here. Down by a touchdown. Maine South has had great field position the 2 times they have had the ball. The other side, Marist has not. From the 12, this is Skalitsky. A little bit of room to the outside. Mike Skalitsky had a 97-yard kickoff return earlier this season, and he takes this one out to midfield. 40 yards on the return.
To the 49-yard line.
Well, that's a nice boost for Marist to get that kind of field position.
Our trivia answer: has there ever been back-to-back champions in the 8 years of Class 8A?
Let me throw this out. In 201 is when they first started the 8A. And I'm thinking that tonight, if Maine South wins, they could be. Otherwise, I don't think so. You know what? Now that I think about it, oh, it's on the screen. I was going to say Lockport.
Well played. Here's Parrish, the rifle shot to Pico. Nice spin move by Pico. And that is one of the reasons Dan Pico has emerged as one of the top receivers in the state. That goes for 14 yards.
Tackled by number 2, Ronnie Buck.
He's got great moves. Of course, quarterback's got to deliver the ball right on the money, which he does.
Dan Pico, the 5th Pico brother to wear a Marist football jersey. Other brothers graduated in 93, 96, 99, and 07. Mike Parrish on the move. He finds Bill Lundy for another Marist first down.
Pass is complete to number 9, Bill Lundy. Tackled by 31. Cody.
Nice routes they're running. They're really tying up the DBs, and they're finding that hole right there. Good catch, good throw.
And we're going to have a personal foul call tacked on to the end of this play. Maine South, the culprits.
After the play, helmet contact on the defense. First down.
40-yard kickoff return. Passes of 14 and 11 yards, plus a personal foul penalty. Here's Skalitsky around the right end, inside the 10-yard line.
This is what they have to do to keep Maine South off balance. They've got to sprinkle their offense with a few runs here and there to keep those linebackers from dropping underneath coverage to help out that secondary. They've got to be able to run the ball.
Down and 7 at the 9-yard line.
The no huddle as Maine South has to hustle some players in and off defensively. Parrish for the corner of the end zone, too much. He was looking for Jason Gorski out there.
Got to put a little air under a throw like that. Good coverage.
Coverage number 31, Cody Fallico, the 5'8 senior.
And they're looking for this mismatch, 5'8 against 6'3 or 6'2. He's got to give him a chance to go up for it.
Your receivers you mentioned earlier, Pico at 6'2, Lundy 6'2, Jason Gorski 6'3, Nick Valla 6'3. You have a 6'4" quarterback throwing to them. This one is thrown hard, and this one is
great catch.
Incomplete, though. Wipe it up.
Wow, it sure looked like from up here that he had it. Great throw, right on the money.
Jason Gorski, intended receiver.
This is a rope right in here on a quick slant route, right underneath the corner.
Hard to tell underneath.
Well thrown football.
Saw that quick release from Mike Parrish. 27-yard field goal attempt coming up from Ben Falloon. Last time Falloon teed one up, it won a state semifinal game.
With 1 second left last week.
Falloon's kick is true, and Marist has finished off this drive with 3. 4:43 to play in the first quarter. Maine South 7, Marist 3. Your 8A championships as we step aside for these local messages. Ben Falloon with it teed up following his field goal. Falloon's field goal now is 7th of the season in 11 attempts.
24
One of our keys was Marist had to kick it. Falloon did.
It'll be interesting to see the field position. Both teams have had pretty good field position in this first quarter.
This return will go to the left side. Zerwanka had a big kickoff return to start this game. He's still on his feet. Zerwanka never left his feet. He's run out of bounds. The junior with a kick return of 40 yards.
Did it in the last kick return. That's the kind of field position that they want, but Marist does not want to give him. You don't want to give a team with the potency of their offense a short field to work with. Back-to-back excellent kickoff returns to give Maine South good field position here.
They've started their 3 drives at their own 42, at their own 43, and now at their own 41-yard line.
Got to take advantage of that.
Motion through, the handoff to Romano. He'll get it up for a 5-yard pickup. Alex Romano came all the way from that left end at the top of your screen.
See, he's a motion man right here. It's just called a jet sweep. He has all those people out in front of him. And the whole idea is that he's got a running start and everybody else is flat-footed, and hopefully he can get on the edge before they're able to pick up speed and take the proper angles.
Number 43, John Hall. Number 25, Taylor Ventress with a tackle for Marist. Red Hawks 11-2, Maine South 13-0, and that's coming off a 14-0 state championship season last year. To the right side, Benz finds the hole up the middle, enough for the first down at the 45.
Having a back like that, when you spread them out like this, is almost like what you hear on Sundays and Saturdays with the Wildcat formation, except this quarterback can run and likes to run. He's a big, tough kid. And they have to spread the field with the receivers. When you put 4 and 5 receivers out there, the linebackers and the DBs have to spread out. That allows that quarterback a lot of running lanes.
Ben's average is 4.8 yards per carry. He picks up 11 on that run. And we may get another encroachment call against Marist. Each one of them have come on first down.
Before the snap, there was encroachment by the defense.
Said our referee, Bill Lottie. You just heard him officiating his final game. Jay Lyons, the line judge tonight, also retiring from the high school officiating ranks. Other officials, the linesman is Wes Fritz, the umpire Patrick Schneider, and Tim Kiefer, the back judge.
There's a shot of that handsome group.
Another first down and 5 for Maine South. And this flag came from the back judge.
Too much time, maybe.
Before the snap, delay by the offense.
Well, Give a little, take a little. I think David's telling him now that that clock back there didn't go off right away. He's having a nice conversation there with Jay Long.
He's pointing to the clock in the south end zone. There's a couple of play clocks down there. So we're back to 1st and 10. Perez. And Perez has not busted the real big one. We've seen him take off on 50-plus yard runs many times.
Trap right there. Nice job on the trap formation coming out. He just bangs it right up inside. It's been a big play for them the entire season. Linemen get out and do a nice job. Chakowski's, both of them, Mueller, Coletti, Nelson. Very solid offensive line from the inside.
About 5 different Red Hawks put a helmet on Matt Perez.
They have that particular play down pat right now from the scouting standpoint. Marist doesn't go anywhere. You see how he sprints one way to get flow and then have Perez come back the other way, but they don't fall for it.
34, Jack Hinks, the 5'9" junior, the first man to make something happen. He had 3 sacks, Hinks did, in the semifinal win over Glenbard North.
And then Dan Pico came out of nowhere to get in on that. Good job of gang tackling. That's how you have to bring Perez down, and sometimes even that doesn't work. 2 weeks ago, there were 9 guys that had shots at him in one of the most incredible runs I've ever seen in high school. He banged off 9 players had shots at him, and he scored.
On 3rd and long, Ben's looking left all the way. Looking to do it with his legs. He won't get there, ridden down by number 78, Connor McHale, the nose guard. Only a pickup of 4 for Benz.
They're going to punt it. Good scrambling, good pressure. We talked about it. Both teams need to put pressure on these quarterbacks because of their passing game, and both quarterbacks are able to make something happen, and you have to stay home, stay in your rush lanes. It's key to put pressure on them, but stay in your rush lanes.
Zingsheim to kick it away once again. 2 men back at the 10-yard line to protect that 10-yard line. It's the floater. Fair catch called, and it will be at the 12-yard line. That's where Marist will have to start, as the fair catch was called by Dave Perkel after the 28-yard punt.
7 yards on that punt. First and 10 for Marist at the 13-yard line.
Interesting. I don't know that our fans at home realize that during all of the games, the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association, as well as the Illinois Coaches Association, hand out plaques for their all-state players between each game. And of course, the National Fundraising Partners are a very important part of that. They've raised over $12 million for the high school football programs in the state of Illinois in conjunction with the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association. We certainly do thank them on behalf of the football coaches in the state.
Intended for Balla, thrown a little bit high. 2nd down and 10. The fans on the far side of the field didn't care for that so much. You see number 2, Ronnie Muck. He was involved in the coverage. Already Parrish here in the first quarter. He's 4 of 7, 37 yards. Quick release, high completion percentage. This time on the ground.
Nice run.
To the 21-yard line. Outstanding run by McKinley Moore, the 5'9" junior. He gets 8 tough yards.
And he's been the complement to this passing game. He's gained 785 yards throughout the year with 146 carries. And he's the type of runner that can bust it if the linebackers drop out too quickly and the outside linebackers come up the field too deep. There's a good shot of Charlie Bliss right there, the offensive coordinator for Maine South. Again, they're looking at the numbers that were flashed to him from the sideline.
Make the handoff to Moore. Parrish will take it himself.
I think he's picked it up.
To the 24-yard line. He should have it. That would be first down number 4 for Marist. Maine South with 5 here in the first quarter.
Both quarterbacks kind of interesting. One is 6'3", Tyler Benz from Maine South, and Mike Parrish is 6'4", but they're different kind of runners. Tyler Benz is a power runner. I mean, he's just a tough little kid, and Mike Parrish runs when he has to.
He's throwing now. He has Bell over the middle. Valla to the 38-yard line. And that is how our first quarter will come to a close. A 14-yard completion from Parrish to Valla. And yet another great game here on the final day of the high school football season. After one, Maine South leads Marist 7-3 as we pause for these local messages. Dave Bernhardt, glad you've joined us here for our 24 hours of high school football coverage here these past 2 days. 8 classes of high school football. This is Class 8A. And it's a 4-point game after the first 12 minutes. Get a good look at Mike Parrish headed to Western Michigan University. Flag goes down immediately on the reception. The bottom of that pile is Bill Lundy.
Parrish's pass is complete to Bill Lundy. Tackled by Mike DeVito. Penalty flag on the play.
You try to read the body language there. Here it is. Offensive pass interference.
Must have pushed off to make that out cut. Shot at Dave and Sarah right there. Outstanding coach for Maine South.
How about a 9-year record of 102 wins, 12 losses?
Offensive pass interference and a loss of a down.
A state championship for Sarah last year, 3 second-place finishes and a third.
You know, I'm not a math wizard, but I figured that out to be about 11 wins a season. That's an incredible record.
Play action, Parrish. That one's picked off. At the 31-yard line on the interception is Luke Lenti. Lenti, the sophomore linebacker, just brought up for the playoffs with the interception, a return of 11 yards, and it will be Maine South ball.
It always seems like on Thanksgiving weekend there's always a Lenti in Champaign. And here's Luke Lenti. His uncle, of course, is Frank Lenti, a Mount Carmel legendary coach who's down here, it seems like every other year. And of course, then I was just talking with Frank Lenti Jr. in the foyer prior to the game, so the Lentis are still everywhere, even if Frank and his Mount Carmel team are not down here.
There's your first quarter stats brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. So Luke Lenti's interception will get Maine South great field position at the 20-yard line. They look to capitalize in a hurry. Perez running hard, a pickup of 7.
Like a man possessed on that carry.
No, hop back to Luke Lenti. How about Lenti? Played on the sophomore team all season long as we look back at Perez's run. Lenti plays on a sophomore team all season. They bring him up for the playoffs, as many teams do with many of their sophomores. Talking to his dad, Mike Lenti, on the Tuesday before their first playoff game, he says, well, you know, I told Luke, just get in there, maybe get on some kickoff returns late in the game. First thing you know, Luke is starting that first playoff game, had 6 tackles in that first game, and now he has an interception in the championship game.
I don't think he'll be back on the sideline very soon here.
Big first down pickup for Perez. Bends, takes a hit, and it takes a couple of people to bring him down.
That was a delayed stunt from the middle. You'll see how he looks to the right, and all of a sudden here he comes. Taylor Ventris, and he's actually a free safety, so they gave up man coverage here, and they just brought him, and he was a delayed stunt. Tyler Benz never saw him coming.
Hinks was there to finish it up, and so the 7 yards that Perez gained on first down is wiped out by that 7-yard sack.
You know, it's interesting. You would think that these light bulbs will burn out because these teams, Marist averages 33 points a game, and Maine South averages 41 points a game. Very, very potent offenses.
Benz looking left all the way, broken up. Intended receiver was Zingshine. This one's going to be coming right at you.
Nice job by Perez right there, containing the outside linebacker and the pressure he wanted to put on Tyler Benz. Not much room for error on a throw like that.
Dan Scholl was right there for the Red Hawks.
Great camera action right there. And a few people probably lifted their feet up off the cushion at home thinking he was going to come right into the living room.
37-yard field goal attempt coming up from Marcus Nelly. Nelly 3 of 5 this year. This would match his season long. And this one does not have a chance. Wide right. Marist is held. And we remain 7-3. We talked about the offense, but it has been the defenses here. In fact, we've seen several offenses today where their defenses have taken somewhat offense, if you will, at being the ignored part of the game.
Well, that's very true. And, of course, to get down to this game after playing 13 games during the season, you have to have a good defense. And it's interesting that we talked about their offense is what they score. Both teams give up an average of 14 points a game over their 13-game season thus far.
Starting from their own 20-yard line. Quick out to the left side. Bala is able to get a block. Boy, he was elevated. That's a tough landing right there for Nick Bala after the gain of 6.
Quick pass here by Parrish. Interesting, we talked about this before, their offenses, but here's the other part of this aspect. The defenses play against these offenses every day at practice. So that certainly does help these defenses when they come to a big game like this. They've seen this particular style of offense almost every day at practice when they have to go up against their own offense.
Waiting at the line, looking at the sidelines.
I'm sore and aching up here after seeing that hit.
I have a headache. Close to a first down, about a yard short. That was Mike Skalitsky on the carry. He and McKinley Moore alternate the running back spot, though it's Moore that's got the majority of carries this season for Pat Dunn's team.
Well, often you don't see Marist huddling up often, but short yardage situations they do that. For the most part, they take their signs from the sideline.
I'm running a little option here. First down to the 37-yard line. You wonder what may have happened had Skalitsky not stumbled after he had taken that pitch. He did pick up 8 yards.
We saw a similar play like that early on with Cary Grove. Different scenario later in the ball game, but 4th and 1, and they ran outside and go 70-some yards for a touchdown.
Nice block ahead of Skalitsky by Bill Lundy.
Cards going up on the sideline.
They want to go deep. Pike goes there. Ronnie Muck breaks it up. Oh, did Muck get up in the air?
That's exactly how he's coached. Get up in the air and go to the highest point. And you see pump fake to a back out in the flat here. Right here. Watch the height right there. Great effort. Just an outstanding effort by Ronnie Muck. He's only 6'1". He's going up against a 6'3" receiver, but obviously he had a good jump on that one.
Ronnie Muck plans on playing baseball right here at the University of Illinois. Would have been a grab over the center field wall. And 2nd and 10. Parrish to the right sideline, and that floats away for this intended receiver, Jason Gorski.
Fans want an interference call, but he was already out of bounds by the time they got tripped up.
Wind may have had a little bit of an impact on that pass. It floated a little bit as Parrish is throwing right into the wind at about 12 miles per hour.
But usually that wind, punters it's more, and kickers it's more of a disadvantage for passers. They don't get the height on the football, the same as the punter and the kickoff people because of the stadium scenario here.
Good to see Nick Bala back in the lineup. He's lined up in the slot at the top of your screen. Parrish going to go right side. Couldn't wait quite long enough for Gorski to come out of his cut.
Well, in the open we talked about we have to pressure Parrish, and that's exactly what they've been doing. They've been giving him different looks, and you know, sometimes your peripheral vision can catch somebody coming at you and you might hurry a throw a little bit. You don't necessarily have to sack him. All you got to do is hurry him, be in his line of sight.
14, Ben Falloon.
Falloon on to punt.
Punt formation for Marist.
38-yard average this season.
24, Mike McGrath.
Again, I like the 2 receivers deep so that ball's not bouncing all over.
Pretty good kick. This is Zerwanka. He'll go down. Good punt coverage by Marist. That's the second time. Check that. It's Mike McGrath on the return for Maine South after the 35-yard kick and a -1 on the return. We have 8:14 to play here in the first half. A low-scoring battle. Maine South 7-3 over Marist. Time for words from your local sponsors. Starting from their worst field position of this game, Ben's right up the middle. And after the pickup about 7 yards, we'll go down to the sidelines and Aaron Bennett.
Guys, there's no question the experience factor is definitely on the side of Maine South tonight. Their head coach, David Sarah, has brought this team to the state title game 5 times now in the last 7 years. And David Sarah said after last week's win that it never gets old. Every time feels like the first time. In fact, after last week's win over Loyola, he actually paraded around the field with a cardboard box that the IHSA gives him with paperwork and tickets and all that good stuff. And there might not be another person more enthusiastic here than David Sarah, guys.
You are right, Aaron. In fact, that cardboard box, that became the real motivating factor because that's what the winner of the semis gets. In fact, everybody was all excited through a whole playoffs. All they wanted was that cardboard box, the cardboard box. So David Sarah played it up right.
Interesting how consistent Maine South is. They've won 27 games, 27 straight games, and they finished their 9th straight undefeated season in the Central Suburban South League. That's quite an accomplishment.
Perez,
there he is.
Look at that. Drags half the club across midfield, a 15-yard gain, and about all 15 of those yards came after the first hit.
I guarantee you, Marist is not looking forward to him getting started. He has great feet and great vision, aside of some tremendous power. Great leg drive.
That was Taylor Ventress who really put a hit on Perez, then had to hang on for dear life.
Perez has the record for the squat clean in the weight room, and that has a lot to do with the power in your legs. And he certainly does have that.
Perez was not a big fan of weightlifting early in his high school career. Benz gets 10+ yards and another first down for Maine South. They now have 7 after that 11-yard pickup.
And you can attribute that long gainer to Perez because they're keen on him, and with that fake, they fly to him, and then Tyler Benz is able to come back up inside. And of course, at 6'3", 215, he's not afraid to put his head down and pick up that extra yardage.
Talking about Perez and that power clean, usually you break those weightlifting records in increments of maybe 5 or 10 pounds. Perez broke the previous record by 60. Problems for Maine South. Down goes Perez. Riding him down was Nick Dorgan. That defensive line just collapsed the right side of the offensive line for the Hawks.
Well, here's the pressure right there. You can see they just blew up inside. They were stunning the linebackers, and that's how what we talked about in the open about gang tackling. That's about the only way you can bring him down, and sometimes that's not enough.
A loss of 3. That's where the forward progress was stopped.
42-yard line.
Past the midway point here of the second quarter. Benz gets it out to Perez in the open field. He'll need 5 more yards for a first down on third down coming up.
It's amazing how many different formations Maine South will give you, how many different looks, trips to one side, slot to another, empty backfields, everything else to spread out that defense and make it very difficult to key on the quarterback or the fullback.
Scoring in this game at the 6:06 mark of the first quarter, Tyler Benz for Maine South scored from 2 yards out. The next possession, Mayor's on a 27-yard Ben Falloon field goal. That's where we stand right now. Big third down from the Marist 35. Romano. He has the first down. He's inside the 25. 11 yards on third down.
Great run. Great run after the catch. Just a bubble screen, but he made the run. You see how he looks away and throws it back, and he's coming back against the grain. Those linemen out in front of him, and along with these receivers blocking for him. Great effort by Romano to pick up that first down.
That little spin was right there as he crossed the first down mark. Perez along the right side with some blockers in front. Ridden down by Dorgan. 4 yards for Perez. We wondered how much Matt Perez Good play. He's carried 12 times for 65 yards.
He doesn't look any worse for wear with his running style at this point. You can see all the decals on the helmet. Those aren't for decoration. Those are all earned awards for various statistics throughout the game, both on offense and defense.
Benz wanted to throw. He will throw. He'll go into the end zone. Romano can't get his hands underneath it as it slides through that orange Illinois end zone.
I'm surprised Tyler Benz didn't pull that down and take off. He had a lane right there. Still tried to get it in there. Good effort by Alex Romano.
This Maine South drive started back their own 27-yard line. They just reached the 20 and another third down. They need 6. Perez will not get it.
Perez on the carry.
They set the formation up to show a bunch formation of 3 receivers on the left side, and he ran away from that because they had overloaded to the strength of the formation, and Perez was his lead blocker, and he didn't pick it up. They're going to be going for it here.
4th down and 4.
They had so many different plays that they talk about having at least 85 plays in their playbook, and that a lot of them are the same plays out of different formations, but all very difficult to play against from a secondary standpoint.
They need 4 yards. Benz, can he run out of trouble?
Wow.
He finds Perez. That gets you out of trouble.
Yowzy.
What a job by Tyler Benz finding Matt Perez. I don't know how he found him.
That takes real poise right here. Just look at all the scrambling he does back and forth and all the pressure, and be able to find a receiver besides dodging all these Marist defenders.
6'3", a 213-pounder. 7 yards, first down at the Marist 11.
Talk about keeping a drive alive. That certainly was it right there by Tyler Benz.
Direct snap to Perez. Matt Perez, will he find the corner of the end zone? Yes, he does. The 30th rushing touchdown of the season by Matt Perez, and it gives Maine South a 13-3 lead.
Again, the diversification, the direct snap to Perez. Tyler Benz is out in the flat blocking right there. And of course, being a former outside linebacker and receiver, that's something that he's done in the past, and he's done it again. He did a nice job there to get Perez into the end zone.
Marcus Nelly to attempt the extra point.
Nelly for the extra point attempt. It's a 73-yard drive for Maine South. And that hits the crossbar. And so we sit at a 10-point lead. 2:33 to play. Kickoff coming up next. The IHSA TV network. Best finish to a great meal. They offer catering and lunch boxes. Dine in, carry out, it's all available. Blues Barbecue will also deliver to all Champaign-Urbana and Savoy.
You know what's interesting about this, that Wheaton South in their second ball game lost to Maine South in a very close game in week 2, 27-9, and here Wheaton South is the state champion in 7A, and here Maine South is in the 8A game trying to get that same trophy.
There is your scoring drive. A couple of key third down conversions contained in that, and it also used up 5 minutes and 41 seconds.
I would call that the Tyler Benz drive right there. He's the one that really orchestrated that entire drive with his ability to keep the play alive when there was great pressure by the front of Marist.
We had said he was the backup to Charlie Goro last year, and he's just now starting to really understand the game. Parrish to Pico. Pico with just his 3rd reception, and it's a short one. Only 3 yards on that particular reception. Pico on the season is at big numbers, averaging almost 100 yards per game receiving.
It's amazing in high school football, excuse me, David, to have a receiver have 85 catches and have another receiver have 52. I mean, that's just an amazing statistic for high school football, but that's what it's evolved to.
Here comes a blitz, and McKinley Moore runs right into it. Who was it? Number 18. You recognize that number? He was the quarterback moments ago, Tyler Benz.
There he is right there.
It's one thing Dave and Sarah, he says, we're just playing the best players all the time, as much of the time as we need to.
Well, oftentimes that's how you get down to Champaign, by doing that. Three-man rush.
Through the hands of Pico near midfield. That ball was thrown on a rope just a bit high.
They're relying on a three-man rush here and dropping those linebackers for the under coverage at this point and trying to help out that secondary, knowing that they have 3 to 4 outstanding receivers that run excellent routes.
Ronnie Muck got caught up in that play in midfield. He'll come walking off the field.
Maine South is able to rush that front three because Parrish is not the threat to run as much as Tyler Benz is. I mean, he'll run if he has to, but he's not the scrambler that Tyler Benz is.
Perez is back with McGrath to receive this punt. And again, good field position here for Maine South, and they still have time here. Minute 9 to play in the first half. A 29-yard kickoff the right leg of Ben Falloon. It's pretty crucial right here for Marist. They're looking up at a 10-point deficit. The only scoring in this game for Marist came on a field goal in the first quarter.
Well, I'm sure quite a few people would have thought there would have been more scoring thus far, but again, we've talked about they both have excellent defenses, and that's what's gotten them here, along with the complementary offense.
Perez looking to create. Dorgan had him once, waits for help, and he gets it. 6 different red jerseys in on that play. And number 72, Mike Goretto-Balmer, 6'3", 225-pound senior. We heard from his mother. It's the Grettos that are owners of Beggar's Pizza we've been talking about all day.
Well, this is a coverage sack here. He had nowhere to go with the football. Nice job downfield by the secondary and the linebackers.
Please reset the game clock to 59 seconds.
Alex Romano comes off. And now a timeout is called on the field with 56 seconds left. Marist is taking this timeout. They want to get a chance here. They think with that sack that they have a chance here to get this ball back and make something happen before halftime runs out.
Well, if you had a quarterback with the ability of Mike Parrish, you would also think that he's thrown for 3,200 yards and 35 touchdowns. That's an incredible stat for a high school quarterback, and I keep saying that, but I'm always amazed at how good these quarterbacks have gotten over the years and how big they've gotten.
And he's coming off a junior year where he passed for over 2,000 yards and had 20 touchdowns.
Well, I think that kind of laid the groundwork for what some people were thinking about Marist, but they weren't really sure until they started getting through that season. You got to remember that in the East Suburban Catholic, there were 7 teams. Count them, 7 teams that made it to the state playoffs. That's the most in the entire state, and so that gives you an idea of the kind of competition that he went up against the entire year.
See what Charlie Bliss would like to run, the offensive coordinator for Maine South, on this 2nd down and 18. He wants a bunch. Just over the outstretched arms, off the fingertips of Kevin Maloney. He drew double coverage.
Interesting. Tyler Benz, when he misses, does not miss by much. I mean, those aren't wobbly passes, and they're not 5 yards short or 5 yards over. They're right basically on the money.
3rd and 18.
Talked about Charlie Bliss, and he just flat out says that you can't defend his offense because he feels like his offense puts pressure on so many people. You might stop them for a series or two, or maybe, they might make a mistake, but you just can't stop them.
Puts a lot of pressure on people during the practice schedule because you've got so many formations to to work on and so many different plays that you've got to stop.
Over the middle from Benz, a flag down.
It's going to be a first down, I think.
Sean Zingsheim, number 8 for Maine South, was the intended receiver.
Pass intended for number 8, Sean Zingsheim.
That will go against Marist. Right there in midfield is where the infraction occurred.
Again, the ball put right on the money for the receiver. Looks like he just got tripped up just prior to making contact with the football.
Defensive pass interference, 15, and an automatic first.
Talking about the offense, John Holisek, the coach for Loyola Academy that gave Maine South everything and more that they wanted in the semifinal game, said that the problem with preparing for it is once you get to the game, you have to gamble and just guess right with this offense so many times.
Exactly. You want to stunt, put pressure on the quarterback, but then they've got Perez to counter with, so that makes it very difficult. Nice catch.
Oh, coming back and spinning around was Zingsheim. I don't know how he grabbed that one.
Sean Zingsheim.
8 yards on that completion.
Timeout again for Maine South.
Well, now it's, Maine South.
Timeout, Maine South.
Says we'll take the timeout. Moments ago, 20 seconds ago, it was Marist that wanted to slow this clock down.
Well, again, with the formations and the type of offense that Maine South has, 39 seconds and 40 yards away, 42 yards away, it's not inconceivable for them to try and go for it, or certainly get it down close enough to go for a field goal. This is the advantage. This is the advantage that they have over some of the other teams that we saw that were the running teams that are not really capable with this little time left to be able to move the ball down the field enough to set up for a field goal.
Well, here you go. You talk about that offense that's capable of doing it, but when you have a man wearing number 32 and Matt Perez, you can stick that ball in his belly and he can take it 50 yards for a score.
Just sometimes he's as good as a pass downfield.
If you're looking for possible turnovers, if you're a Marist fan saying, well, how many times does Benz give it up in the air? Coming into this game, he attempted 250 passes with only 6 interceptions.
It's quite a stat. And for all the pressure that he's under constantly. "39
seconds to play in the half. Nice job defensively. Knocking it away from Zingsheim was Dan Scholl.
Number 8, Sean Zingsheim.
I'm really impressed with Tyler Benz's mechanics right here. It's just a quick slant route, 3 steps. Ball is right on the money. Good defensive effort right there. But the ball is right there.
Number 20, Dan Scholl.
It's a good thing Scholl was too.
Third down, 3rd and 2.
Zingsheim had a full head of steam.
44-yard line.
Now it's 3rd and 2. That took 5 seconds off the clock.
Spreading the field out.
Perez. He will be run out of bounds, but not until he gets to the 32-yard line. First down, Maine South. 30 seconds to play here in the first half after this 12-yard pass completion.
Interesting. He ran everybody off, and they just dumped it out to him out in the flat. He's enough of a threat that he can make a big play. Smart enough to get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Maine South, 30 seconds to play with here in the first half. They lead it 13-3 over Marist. Ball at the 32 of the Red Hawks.
Got a flag here.
Thrown on the far side of the field.
Before the snap, illegal procedure by the offense.
It's already the 9th penalty here on these two teams in the first half, just the 3rd on Maine South.
When you run this many formations and with motion and all those type of things, it's amazing that there's not more penalties by these young teenagers to be able to be this this football savvy, to be able to pick up all these formations and things.
Ben's looking for anybody. He finds Zingsheim. Zingsheim a first down, or not first down. He gets inside the chain there as the loss of yardage took it away a little while ago, but he'll be out of bounds after a 9-yard pickup. 19 seconds showing on the clock.
They're certainly taking advantage of every tick of that clock, advancing down the field.
Second down and 6.
Plenty of time. 19 ticks left on the clock. Well, the one thing that's impressive about Benz, we've already seen it here several times in the first half, even when he's in trouble, he has the presence to search out and know where help can be found.
Well, that's being comfortable with the offense and having a lot of confidence in your receivers that they'll find the open spot.
On the ground, Perez dances through one, powers through another, to the corner of the end zone, touchdown. 28-yard run, Matt Perez with 12 seconds to play in the half.
Big run. Big run, great run. Just their draw right there, a little counter draw. Great job by the offensive line of Chakowski, Alex and Mike Chakowski, Adam Mueller, Frank Coletti, and Victor Nelson. They've done it all year long for Matt Perez, and they did it again here.
Nelly looking for the extra point, hit the crossbar his last time. This one is true. And with 12 seconds to play in the first half, Maine South has pushed it up to a 20-3 advantage.
That's a big touchdown psychologically going into the half. Take a look at it here. It's just that draw, and he cuts back. Good job of fold blocking up the middle. Linebackers dropped out a little bit, and that's all he needs is a seam because he has excellent speed to go along with that power. It's a good shot of Matt Perez right there. Sun Times Player of the Year, All Conference, Mr. Do Everything for Maine South. It's quite a combination with he and Tyler Benz.
Second touchdown run of the game for Matt Perez as Maine South, a 57-second drive. Perez here in the first half, 15 carries for 106 yards.
Between the two of those guys, it's really pick your poison. Which one is going to burn you? If you take one away, the other one's going to hurt you.
Well, and Perez has been on the receiving end of 4 passes from Benz, 4 catches for 38 yards, so 144 yards in offense for Matt Perez. And there was questions as to whether he would even be able to play tonight following the injury he suffered against Loyola in the semifinals.
Well, interesting. He's the second leading receiver with 30 catches coming into this ball game, but also we were told that he'd be about 95%.
Skolitsky had a big return earlier. Can he split the seam? He does.
Nice tackle.
Good job on the outside by Maine South. Cody Fallico after the 25-yard return. 5 seconds to play here in the first half. See Mike Parrish crank it up here.
You know, this has not been a situation where if you look at the scoreboard right now, 20-3, where you can say Marist has not played well defensively. They've put a lot of pressure on Tyler Benz, and what happens is he's been good enough to scramble around and make plays happen. It's not so much that they have given up plays as far as what he can do to them. It's just the fact they put so much pressure on him that he had lively legs to get through things.
They run a little trick here to Pico. Pico gets to midfield after the catch by Gorski. And the clock has gone to 0. Maine South has a 20-3 lead. After Ben Falloon kicked a 27-yard field goal with 4:43 to play in the first quarter to pull Marist within 7-3, Matt Perez, an 11-yard run, then a 28-yard run, has made this a 17-point ball game at the half as the Marist Redhawks will head to the far side of the field. They'll head into their locker rooms. Maine South comfortably ahead, or at least on the scoreboard comfortably ahead by 17 points, will come here to the near side. Let's go down to Aaron Bennett.
Guys, thanks. We're here with Maine South head coach David and Sarah. Coach, how big was it psychologically to get those last 7 points right before half?
No, I mean, I've said it before, we've got to keep attacking. What a great run by Matt, but, you know, we blocked up front. That was the key. We hit the hold, we blocked up front, and we're constantly attacking, so.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Maine South head coach David and Sarah up 20-3 heading into halftime, guys.
He's looking for his 28th straight victory. If he gets it, it will be 2 consecutive 14-0 seasons, 2 consecutive state championships. And right now, the Hawks have the lead over the Redhawks, 20-3 at the half. Stay there. Halftime coming up. Lee Hall, Paul Parpet, and Gary Corhonen.
And we are back in Champaign, halftime of our 8A state championship game. Maine South with a touchdown just before the half, and they lead Marist 20-3. Lee Hall along with Paul Parpet, Gary Corhonen. I was just about to say, I had my remarks ready for halftime, and I was going to say how Maine South had been racking up the yardage. The time of possession didn't have a lot to show for it, and then Matt Perez breaks that touchdown right before halftime.
Well, I think if Marist had any concerns that Matt Perez wasn't ready to play tonight, I think his performance in that first half, especially on that last drive, showed that Matt Perez is ready to go.
Yeah, I would concur with that. I think before I even start with any offense, how about that Maine South defense? That Maine South defense led by Mike DeVito. Mike Perez is their second leading tackler, and he's not even playing defense. And you have Alex Spano, Mike Zimmerman, and Luke Lenny's interception was huge there, although Marist survived that because it put Lenny's interception put Maine South in position to score, and they got nothing out of it. But to hold Marist to 86 yards, hey, both these teams have scored a total of 970 points total, and this scores 20-3. So that says something for the defenses involved.
Sure does. Let's take a look at those Menards halftime stats. Save big money at Menards, and there you get a look at the rushing yard. Look at that, 136-25, and just moments ago it was 13-3. So that last run by Perez, the last touchdown, made it a little bit more in favor of Maine South on the scoreboard. Just one in that first half. We talked about turnovers all day and the penalties. Marist with 6 penalties for 50 yards in the first half. What sticks out there, Coach? You look at third down conversions, 4 of 8. Both teams fairly good on third down conversions, but Maine South really making it count on the scoreboard.
Well, I think the big stat there is the 24 rushes for 136 yards for Maine South. And, you know, Marist 7 rushes for 25 yards. And then that last score at the end of the half, that's going to kind of make Marist one-dimensional in the second half.
All right, 20-3 is our halftime score. It's Maine South with the lead. We'll be back to look at the first half highlights coming up after this local timeout. And back at halftime, the band with a performance here in the 8A state championship, the final championship to be awarded here this weekend. It's been a great weekend here in Champaign, Urbana, Lee Hall. Paul Parpet, Gary Corhonen with you from Memorial Stadium. And it's 20-3, Maine South going for their second straight state championship in Class 8A. Let's take a look at those first half highlights. It was Maine South getting on the board first. Tyler Benz, we talked about it before in the pregame, Coach. He is a quarterback who was a receiver last year, and he shows his wheels here, taking it in from just 2 yards out for the early score. Now it's Marist with the offense, and that was incomplete. They did score on a field goal, and then it was an interception for Maine South. Number 42, Luke Lenti with the interception for Maine South. And then here is Matt Perez, one of his 2 touchdowns. That's the first one that made it 13-3. And then with just seconds to go in the first half, it's Perez again. He's banged up, but he shows Coach Corhonen what a really special player he is in the backfield for Maine South.
Yes, indeed. Right now he has 106 yards and 15 carries and 4 receptions for 38 yards, 144 as far as the all-purpose yards on offense are concerned. I can't say enough about the Maine South defense, so they've been playing a 52-man and changing things up with a 3-stack or 3-5. They've been putting pressure on Parrish, as Marist has been putting pressure on Perez, too. The thing you just got to love about Tyler Benz is going both sides of the ball. He's a football player.
Right.
I think Tyler Benz just likes to play football. He was a tight end last year, a quarterback now.
Right.
Looks like he likes bodily contact, and he really does a great job.
Yeah, you see that more in the lower classes, the guys that go both ways, but that is special in 8A in this day and age, Coach.
Well, Maine South, I know we played them back in 1999, and Maine South had like 4 or 5 players going both ways back then. And, you know, if you think about it sometimes, if you total 2 platoon all your really good athletes, that means half the game that they're standing next to you on the sideline. Right. So I think it's a smart move sometimes when you play those boys.
Yeah. 20-3, the halftime lead. What in your opinion does Marist have to do to get their offense going? Just the field goal by Ben Falloon to show for their first 24 minutes of action here.
Well, I think number one, they had an excellent kickoff return and really put them in a position to go out and score. And a lot of times what will happen is that teams will feed off of specialty teams. In other words, there'll be a good return or a block kick or something of that nature. And Marist never really did capitalize that. They got a field goal out of it, but they should have gotten a touchdown. I think what they're going to have to do is find a way to try it more effectively, maybe run more passing combinations. Maybe 1 or 3 step drop, shorter routes, whatever the case. And Dan Peichel, they've kept them pretty quiet this half too.
The problem that I see, Gary, is that Marist now is going to be one-dimensional.
Right.
They're chasing 17 points. They're a pass-first football team. Now, Maine South can sit back, pressure the quarterback, play some looser coverage, and they're one-dimensional.
All right, and you got to find a way to get the Maine South offense off the field too, and that's a pretty tough job with Matt Perez and Tyler Benz out there. We are 20-3 here at the half. Maine South leading Marist, and we're back in Champaign after this local timeout. "24 minutes of football left in the Illinois High School Association season. It's Maine South with a 20-3 lead over Marist. It's halftime here. Lee Hall along with Paul Parpet from Addison Trail and Gary Corhonen from Richards, and our Ron Musich, our buddy, just won the 7A state title. We got to get one for you now.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. Ron looked pretty happy, didn't he?
He did.
He didn't seem like he missed this at all.
I don't think he did, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Let's take a look at the keys, Jack McInerney's keys to the game. Let's see how these teams are faring. Maine South, pressure or perish. They've been able to pressure.
Right. They've been able to pressure, and they're going to continue to pressure. Keep the off balance. That's mixing the run and the pass. They've done an outstanding job of that, and no sweat. They've been there before. They've done this before. Coach Sincera and the Hawks have won 27 straight games.
That's unbelievable. That's incredible. And that not only for the players who have been here, but the coaching staff to know the routine, and then just try to make it as much like every other game as you can. Coach, for Marist, more than pass, and that hasn't happened for them.
Well, Marist is going to have to also start percolating and what they do well, and that's passing. And so far, 61 yards is not, or 61 or 70 yards is not getting it done. And more than pass, mix up some run in there. Minimize Perez as best you can, maybe perhaps start blitzing a little bit, and the kicking game, keep him back, or just do as well as you can with the specialty teams and play field position.
Minimize Perez. That's, of course, easier said than done.
It's a big task.
Yeah. He's a guy that, you guys mentioned in the break that he's not playing defensively tonight. Right. Coach Sincera opting to just focus on his offense. That's probably a pretty good move right now because he is banged up.
One of the things that I've seen and witnessed with Matt Perez is once he makes contact, his legs never stop. Okay, if you watch the pile, when Matt Perez hits a pile, it's always going towards his goal line. That's a good running back. The one guy is not going to take him down.
Well, I thought at first, before the 2 touchdowns right at the end there, that I thought the Maine South defense was going about 200 miles an hour, and Marist's defense was going about 190 miles an hour. But Matt Perez has kind of negated the defensive effort of Marist at this point in time.
Yes. Now you're in the Maine South chair. You played a good first half, but there's still 24 minutes to play.
Finish.
Yeah.
Finish. You've been there before. Hey, when you play against a team that can make big plays, like Marist can, and they've proven that they can throughout the season, you've got to finish. And I'm sure that Coach Sincere and the staff is telling the Hawks the score is 0-0. Let's finish what we started.
Yeah, that's right. Marist is the passing attack. My goodness, Mike Parrish has passed for 3,200 yards, 35 touchdowns. They're 1 or 2 big plays away from being back in this game. They just got to execute and convert.
It's Hawks and Red Hawks, and right now the Hawks have the better of it. Maine South, the 20-3 lead over Marist. Plenty of football to be played. Dave Bernhardt, Jack McInerney back after this on the IHSA TV network.
We're back just a couple of minutes from kickoff of the second half as Maine South leads Marist 20-3. We're here with Marist head coach Pat Dunn. Coach, a little unusual for your team to only have 3 points at halftime. How have they been able to kind of keep your high-powered offense in check so far?
They obviously have done a good job there, defending the pass and coming up even also on the run. But it's something that, we got to stick to our game plan and get back to what we do.
How do you, as a coach, try to get your guys to slow down Matt Perez and Tyler Benz? It seems like they kind of had their way, especially late there in the second quarter.
Obviously, we have to wrap up. We've had plays in the backfield where they've gotten out of. We just got to wrap up and execute. So.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck in the second half. Marist head coach Pat Dunn. Guys, he needs to get something going here early in the second half.
Indeed, he has gotten something going in this program, though. When Dunn was hired a couple of years ago, Marist had been to the playoffs only once in the previous 11 years. His first year, Red Hawks were 4-5. Last year, 9-3. And how about that? Year number 2, 11-2, and here in the state championship ball game. He's a Marist graduate. He has several Marist alums on his staff, and he has a school spirit running rampant. We were talking, Jack, during one of the breaks, the Marist section on the far side of the field, you get a look at it there, that's just a fraction of them. They had the largest group singing of a school song I have ever heard. Talk about a school community being involved in it.
It was amazing. As you can see over there on the far side of the field, that's the Marist contingent. And they were all standing singing the Marist fight song as well as the regular school song. But the other part of this, both of these bands, and normally this goes on set, but you just cannot imagine at home what a tremendous halftime show was put on by the Marist band and the Maine South band. If I closed my eyes and I just opened them and looked out on that field, I would have thought that I was at a Big Ten football game. They were absolutely amazing. Hats off to the Marist and the Maine South bands. What a great job, and there they are right there. And what a contributing factor they are to athletics at a high school. I mean, there's so many kids involved in this and the amount of time and practice that they put in, but wow, did they put on a great show.
Yeah, it was fantastic. The fans on both sides, in fact, Maine South played first. They did their thing, and then you could see the Marist band coming on, and it was truly a battle of the bands.
It really was,
and
they were super.
It was great. Looking for a good second half here as well. Marist has some work to do, and again, we go back to a point we made early on. We talked about the offenses a lot. Everybody's talked about the Maine South offense all year, but defensively, they've held Mike Parrish down. That's no easy task, Parrish and his 3 wide receivers.
Well, we talked about that early on, pressure or perish, and they've done a good job. Not only just the defensive linemen, but the linebackers in the secondary have done a nice job in defending the pass of Marist.
We'll have to keep an eye out for Dan Pico. Pico was part of that final play of the half, and he came up a little gimpy as he was heading into the locker room. That would be a huge loss for Marist if he was unable to go.
We also talked about the balance that Marist needed to show to keep the Maine South defenders off them, but they've only run the ball 7 times in the first half. 7 runs is all they've done, and they're going to have to show a little more balance than that to get back in this ball game.
Mike Parrish, 8 of 16, has 1 interception by Luke Lenti. We'll get the second half started Marist will get their hands on the ball first. Marcus Nelly, I was going to say, had that ball teed up. Mother Nature intervened.
What a beautiful night. Absolutely beautiful here. Crisp autumn evening.
Some coaches worry about what's that weather going to be like if I can get all the way down to Champaign. Absolutely no factor here tonight. A little bit of wind, as you saw there. But otherwise, a great day. Great day for football. We've had 3 great games completed. 1 half to go here in the 8A game. Kick it short. They don't want Skolitsky to get his hands on the ball. He had a 40-yard kickoff return earlier.
Dan Durkin,
7-yard kickoff return. And this would actually be good field position for Marist here in this game, starting at their own 33. They've had a tough go of it in terms of starting drives.
Well, this first drive could be very interesting for Marist to set the tempo for the second half. See of any adjustments they made. There's the run right off the bat.
Looking to establish up. Skolitsky spins off right tackle. He'll get across the 45-yard line. Skolitsky with a 14-yard run to start half number 2.
You think they were listening to me?
I believe they
Very
were.
few do. That's why I'd be surprised. And the no-huddle offense.
Skolitsky stays in the backfield. And again, not as much. In fact, about 12 yards less than the last carry.
But this sets a thought process in the mind of Maine South defenders as far as running the ball early, and that's the kind of psyche you have to get in with teenagers. When they see the ball being run, they want to start squeezing the line of scrimmage a little bit, and that will open up the passing game. As long as the run game is successful, not just handing it off and settling for a yard or 2. They've got to get some yardage out of it.
Well, we see Dan Pico just out of your frame, the bottom of the picture. He's on the left end. This is Nick Bala. Bala was looking to split some defenders. Nothing doing as he is shoved back by number 5, Kevin Maloney, and number 19, Marcus Nelly.
Good job of reaction there. Nothing more than a quick pass out the flank, the 3-step drop, and good reaction by the secondary coming up.
Third down at 8, 48-yard
Those are oftentimes plays that develop into bigger plays because he's out on an island, and if he can beat that one corner before that safety gets the help. But in this case, the safety was there very quickly to take the inside out approach to the receiver.
Third and long. Pressure. Lenti has him. The sophomore gets him again. Luke Lenti with an interception and now a sack.
And that was nothing more than a straight, what we call a bull rush, where he doesn't try to get around the blocker. He just barreled him right back into the quarterback and then made the move and made a great play at 6'2", 185 pounds. It's hard to believe he's only a sophomore.
A loss of 10.
That's not the way Marist wanted to start off this second half.
Chance for a return here. McGrath will pick it up. And he hopes of breaking one end quickly. 39-yard punt. 0 on the return. 9:31 to play in the third quarter. Maine South gets their hands on the ball next when we come back from Memorial Stadium.
51, Dan Durkin.
Beggar's Pizza. They lay it on thick. Perez, the first carry here in the second half for the Hawks, and he'll carry a couple of people up. Perez in the first half, 106 yards on the ground.
And that's been the difference as far as, we're talking about the passing games, the vaunted passing games of both of these teams, but passing yardage, Maine South only has 66, Marist has 82. The key is the rushing as far as running the ball. Maine South has 144 yards to Marist 30 rushing the football.
Tyler Benz at quarterback. He keeps, powers his way forward enough for a first down to the 38.
Tyler Benz on the
6 yards for Benz, who has rushed 9 times for 31 yards tonight.
He's been a nice compliment to Matt Perez, and that's just the option play off there. They're reading where the tackle goes in regard to Perez, and then he just keeps the ball and and goes in the opposite direction, and that picks up the first down. Spreading the field again.
Perez, short pickup.
Perez, the ball carrier.
He really makes the tacklers pay for tackling him one-on-one.
You know, I thought early in the game he didn't quite have that burst that we've seen him have or initiate the contact, but it just has grown and grown as this game's gone along.
Well, I was watching him in the pregame, and he wasn't doing much. So it might have taken him a few plays to get warmed up and get that blood flowing, and that's just sometimes what happens. He really wasn't doing much stretching or warming up there initially, but he sure has come out ball of fire now.
It's been Perez, Benz, Perez, and now Benz again.
And each other are blocking for each other. That was a nice job of Perez blocking for Tyler Benz, and the play before that, Tyler Benz did a nice job of blocking for Matt Perez. And again, the key to this is that offensive line of Alex Chakowski, Mike Chakowski, Adam Mueller, Frank Coletti, Victor Nelson, all those 5 linemen up front doing an outstanding job, both in the pass blocking and run blocking.
See whether Benz elects to throw his first pass here of the second half. Nope, that's as good as gold right there. Perez, if he doesn't lose his footing, maybe finds one more crease. That's another first down. A gain of 9 for Perez. His mother, way back in grade school, early grade school years, Perez's mother offered him $2,000 to not play football. She didn't want her young man to get hurt. I have a feeling that scholarship to Indiana will be make up for that $2,000 very quickly. Coming this way with room, sideline, Perez is gone.
Touchdown, Maine South.
47-yard touchdown run by Matt Perez. It is his 3rd rushing touchdown tonight.
I don't know who was telling us that he was only 95%, because on this little trap here, he certainly turns the burners on. Nice blocks downfield, but watch the speed he turns on right here, right down the sideline. I don't see any limp there. Nice run by Matt Perez.
Up to 174 yards rushing tonight. The extra point is good, and the lead has gone to 27-3.
27, Marist 3.
We see the speed from Perez, but it's deceptive type speed. It's just these gradual pull-away speed.
Well, it's interesting, the blocks there that you see Victor Nelson, the right tackle, number 77, through 6'7", 310-pounder. It's nice to run behind somebody like that, and certainly Matt Perez takes advantage of that.
Matt Perez has set an 8A championship game record for individual yards rushing with 174 yards. This is not one of our sometimes trivia questions. However, I will ask you, who do you think held the previous record? You will never get it.
Matt Perez.
Charlie Goro.
Oh, Charlie Goro last year.
Last year, 164 yards, that's right.
And he was the quarterback, and he made the difference because they played pass defense because of his great throwing ability, but he just scrambled all over the field, and Hinsdale Central, who had a great team, just could not stop Charlie Goro.
3 touchdowns for Matt Perez, also ties a record for most touchdowns rushing in a game. A record happened to be set in 2001, a young man that you would know very well.
Bob McKeltney. Downers Grove South against Naperville Central. State championship game won by Downers South 34-31. Great football game here. The first year of the State 8A state championship.
10-yard return by Jack Hinks. My partner to my right, Jack McInerney, still wearing that championship ring, that Mustang ring.
It was so exciting to be down here, and that's just how all these coaches and all these players feel. This is the pinnacle of your career as far as a player and as a coach, to get to the championship game.
Parrish to the air. Skolitsky. And a late flag coming down.
That was nice execution by Marist.
6 yards. Put another 15 on it with the personal foul call. Marist will have the ball into Maine South territory. Dave and Sarah's not crazy about that call.
This is like a mime game. Trying to.
After the play, personal foul on the tackle by the defense. First down.
Take a look at this pass from Parrish to Skalitsky.
Right there, it looked like a. It's hard to tell what he was after. I don't know if that was a clip or what.
Helmet to helmet.
Again, getting the signs put up by the coaches on the sideline for Mike Parrish to read and call the play.
They started doing that in the quarterfinals when the crowds got bigger and louder. That's a long pass here to the near sideline. Skalitsky goes down to get it. Not much of a pickup, just 4 yards.
Shows you the strength in Mike Parrish's arm for that kind of a throw. Of course, all year long, he's proven that and showed that arm off with 3,200 yards and 35 touchdowns throwing the ball.
4 yards to play in second down and 6.
Only 3 times all season has Parrish thrown for less than 225 yards. Last week was one of them. So far today, just 91 yards passing for Parrish. He'll look for more here. He'll look for a lot more. He'll get 6 points out of it as well.
Great throw, great catch.
Touchdown reception by Dan Pico of 34 yards. Pico just waited out there. He ends up getting his 16th touchdown reception of the season over Cody Falico.
Great job by the offensive line on that little rollout, but just a good throw right over the top shoulder. Great throw, great catch.
What Falico was doing his little pantomime was he thought that he was being held off by Pico. But it is a touchdown, the first touchdown of the game for the Red Hawks from Marist. 34 yards, and for Mr. Mike Parrish, that is his 36th touchdown pass of the season.
That's quite a statistic for a high school quarterback. We talk all the time about the sophistication of high school football and how it's grown so dramatically over the years. But sometimes when you tune in, it's hard to tell it's not a college game.
A little confusion here on the conversion attempt. 2-point conversion attempt will be coming up, but first a timeout called by Marist. We'll be back for that 2-point attempt right after this. Mike Parrish looking for number 1, his number 1 receiver. There he is, Dan Pico. The catch in the end zone. Now the 2-point conversion attempt into the end zone again, and this one will bounce in. He was looking for Bill Lundy, so Ben Dunn, who's looking to get as many points as he can at one time, will have to be happy with just 6. Trails by 18. And now you have to start thinking here as we pass the midway point of this third quarter. Now do you start thinking onside kick? There's your drive. 3 plays, 58 yards. Pico's 16th touchdown catch off the 36th touchdown pass from Mike Parrish.
You really don't want to give an offense like Maine South field position this early. I mean, they're still, obviously, Marist is still in the ballgame, especially with the type of offense they have. And this could be a little shot in the arm for them. But you don't want an onside kick here and let Maine South have a shorter field. That's not what they need. They need to kick it deep and get a good stop and get back in this ballgame with a good drive, and they're certainly capable of that.
You look at the average yards per play. Maine South today, 6.3 yards per play. Marist at 5.2. They've had a couple of big plays, the Red Hawks have. Get a good look at Ben Falloon. Boy, he was the hero 1 week ago. How about that? 10 points were scored in the last 4 minutes by Marist over Glenbard North. Falloon, the last 3. 24-yard field goal with 1 second left to win it, 17-14.
And there's a lot more pressure on a high school player in a situation like that than there is on a college or pro player.
Cerwanka's had 2 good kickoff returns already, 1 to the right, 1 to the left. This one won't be as much to the 23-yard line. 16 yards on that return. Big defensive series right here for the Marist Red Hawks.
Maine South drive will start at its own 23-yard line.
Well, again, as we mentioned before, you know, they played in a league that produced 7 playoff teams, the most in the state, coming out of the same conference. So they've had some tough games, and they know the taste of having to come back in the second half to come out eventual winner, and so they're certainly capable of it.
Ben's looking for any sort of a gap in the defense. Enough of a strength to get 5 yards out of it.
Nice job by Frank Coletti, the right guard, pulling out and leading him on the dive fake with Perez.
5 yards. Play a second down and 5.
A lot of good versatility in the play calling for Maine South, keeping those linebackers off balance with the fakes and the counter looks.
Perez, can he get a block to the outside? First down to the 40. He's making it look easy right now. That's a 12-yard run, approaching his per carry average coming into this game. Perez, 10.7 yards per carry.
Again, just a cutback, running in behind big Victor Nelson and Frank Coletti on the right side, and a nice job by Adam Mueller, the center, blocking back. Again, you can't have those kind of statistics if that offensive line is not doing the job. And obviously, in most cases, they're the ones that are overlooked, but they truly are the heroes of an offense.
This time, Benz goes nowhere. Grabbed by number 54, Vince Maida, and pushed back at the whistle.
Back by 54, Vince Maida.
Marist front three have had their hands full today. Vince Maida and Connor McHale and Mike Ballmer, 3 down linemen. They've had their hands full. They've done a pretty nice job, but Tyler Benz has just been so tough today from the standpoint of his scrambling ability. It's something that I don't think that Marist really expected. They thought that he was going to run the ball, but they didn't really think that he could scramble the way he has.
Made some big plays off of scrambles in the first half. Play clock shows 0. And did Maine South get a timeout called in time? Yes, they did.
You know, if you look back statistically and you look at some plays, whether it be a long gainer or a touchdown pass, oftentimes in a game like today, if you look back and look at the tape, you'll see that it was caused by the feet of the quarterback. And in many cases today, Tyler Benz kept the play alive by his scrambling ability. The pressure Marist was putting on him, but he was still able to scramble and look downfield and make some big plays that kept drives alive.
How about some of these games we had earlier today? Montini 29-28. They score a touchdown to pull within 1 in the final 30 seconds, and then they go for 2 and get it.
Great call by Chris Andriano.
Cary Grove started to roll it up on Providence Lane, an awfully good Cary Grove team. They finish off an undefeated season for their first state championship, and then the 7A game in double overtime. Wheaton Warrenville South 34-27 over Glenbard West.
It's been quite a day down here in Champaign. Outstanding football games by outstanding football teams.
We are at 27-9 here in our 8A title game. Ben's on a little bit of a delay, got tripped up behind the line.
He had some running room there had he not been tripped up.
He did, and he saw it too. You could just see that body language. He was ready to accelerate. These are all pretty safe plays, aren't they? You don't turn the ball over much when you take it yourself or give it to Perez.
They are safe plays, but they're plays that have been developed into big plays throughout the season for Maine South. They just spread the field out with the formations. You can see 3 at the top of the screen right there. That stretches. Look at how thin now you are in between the tackles.
To the air, out of the backfield's Perez. He goes down. He takes a hit on that left thigh. It's his right thigh where he suffered the deep bruise last week against Loyola.
Well, again, Perez, they spread the field and they dump it out to him in the flat after they run off the defensive backs in the secondary. They want to get him out in the open field. And that's why he's one of the top receivers on the team with over 20 catches. Actually, over 30 catches now.
That goes for 12 yards. And it takes it into Marist territory. Perez now with 236 yards of total offense tonight. Benz looked up and he ran right into the arms of Mike Goretto-Balmer, number 72. Made a pretty good decision to go down easy.
Well, that backside of that defense didn't fall for the fake to Perez, thinking oftentimes that they'll collapse and take off going for him, and then Tyler Benz comes off of that fake going in the opposite direction, but a well-coached Marist team didn't fall for that on the backside.
Time of possession really starting to lean heavily in favor of Maine South. 20 minutes, 29 seconds to 11:55 for Marist.
Puts a lot of pressure here. These formations put a lot of pressure on those three down linemen and those two inside linebackers. An awful lot of pressure.
Yardage to about the 43-yard line. And again, more and more looks. Perez again. This time he came from the slot left.
And again, a lot of different formations, but there's a lot of the same plays off of those particular looks. They might give you 6 different formations and have the same plays coming right off of those different formations, because it's all really, if you look at it beside the formations, all it's been attacking is in between the tackles with the quarterback and the running back.
On 3rd and 5, Perez the carry. He will be very close to that first down.
And Perez on the carry.
Perez looked just a little gimpy on the previous play.
He's getting worn down. He's been carrying the load here, but he's in great shape.
Right, now think about that. He's carried 22 times tonight for 196 yards. Normally on a typical day, he'd also be playing on the defensive side of the ball in addition to those numbers.
And he's caught 5 passes, so that's another, you're looking at 27 touches for him. And first down there, and he's only at 95%. And he actually was probably their best defensive player.
He was second on the team in tackles coming into this game tonight.
And he talks oftentimes about enjoying defense more than he does offense.
Yeah, when asked what his best, most rewarding play in a game is, he loves a sack.
A sack lunch or a sack of the quarterback?
Probably a little of both.
I would imagine.
Maine South has obliterated the previous record for most yards rushing by a team in a game. The previous record set in 2001, 156 yards by Downer South. Maine South now with 240 yards rushing, and we still have a full quarter to play.
Well, it's interesting that the type of offenses that both of these teams run now are really become the norm for most schools now, have gone into this spread look and do a lot more things. Oftentimes you think of it as basically a passing formation, but in fact it really isn't. It's more of a balanced formation where you can run and throw and run the option. You can do an awful lot of things out of this formation, and a lot of people are picking it up.
Third quarter is coming to a close. Maine South outscoring Marist 7-6. We go to the fourth. The Hawks looking for their second consecutive state championship. 18 points up on Marist. We'll pause for these words from your local sponsors. Back at Memorial Stadium, it is the site of the IHSA State Football Finals. This is your 8A championship game. We've already crowned 7 champions. 12 minutes to go in this one. Maine South looking to go back-to-back 14-0 seasons and state championships. Benz to the air. Open to the right side, Muck. Ronnie Muck getting a little time on offense. And a first down.
Well, they've come back to this particular route several times where they run everybody off with the deep routes, and then they just drop off a delay receiver out into the flat, and he is wide open, and they just dump it out to him and let him make hay, if you will. And again, just watch the formations and what they create here for the defense of Marist.
Hole up the middle. Goodbye. 26-yard touchdown run for Matt Perez, and he gets a simple handshake in the end zone. 4 touchdowns tonight for Perez. He's gone over the 200-yard mark.
Well, it's really really unfortunate that Marist, with such an outstanding football team, has to come up against this juggernaut at Maine South, and of course Matt Perez, who is just sensational, continuing to end his career at Maine South with a tremendous game in the championship. He's up to 223 yards rushing right now and 4 touchdowns, and we're just starting the fourth quarter.
Those 4 touchdowns and 24 points ties him with the 8A record with Alex Diekman from Naperville North. That was back in 2007. 34-9 following the extra point. Oh, they're going ape for Maine South. What a performance by Matt Perez. You know, I know everybody all season long, oh, Matt Perez this, player of the year, that, all-state of that, headed to Indiana. Well, you and I were talking, and we wanted Perez to play so that the folks in Illinois all across the state had an opportunity to see what a special player he is. And he has battled through these injuries, the broken toe, the broken bone in his hand, the deep thigh bruise, and 23 carries, 223 yards, 4 touchdowns, another 5 receptions, 50 yards. I think he's showing people something.
Well, and as we can share now, they weren't positive as it started out the start of the week that he was even going to play. And he did very little all week long, did more rehab of the leg than anything. And apparently it worked out perfectly.
Dave Perkle with some room for Marist, and he'll get across the 45-yard line. 33-yard return for Perkle. And a flag comes down very late here as the teams are actually starting to walk off the field. A 6-minute drive for Maine South. That's why they hold a time of possession advantage right now of 24.5 minutes to 12. Perez's 4th touchdown run for Maine South. They have used their last 4 scores coming from Perez.
After the play, personal foul, kicking team, dead ball, personal foul, receiving team.
Here are your third quarter stats brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. We told you about that 240 yards, setting a Class 8A state championship game record.
Well, the rushing yardage and the time of possession is what obviously jumps out. And of course the score that goes along with it, 27 points.
McKinley Moore, the junior running back.
Nice move.
Can he get to the outside and get a block? He gets a block, he gets to the outside, and he is taken down by took those feet right out from underneath him.
It's a good effort there by Muck to come up and make that play, Ronnie Muck. But McKinley Moore, he's got all the talent in the world to offset this passing game, and he really hasn't carried the ball that much tonight. But he's had a great season with 785 yards rushing, 146 carries, 8 touchdowns. He's only a junior.
He gets 10 yards there to boost the Marist total up to 40. Parrish overthrows Scalizzi on the left side. You know, speaking of Mike Parrish, we saw Tim Hanrahan play for Providence, the running back for Providence in the 6A game. Parrish and Hanrahan live 10 houses apart from each other in Frankfort. They would play backyard football while they're growing up. Of course, Hanrahan was the running back. Parrish was the quarterback. Parrish actually attended Providence his freshman year before transferring to Marist.
Interesting stories that come up, and they live right down the street from each other and played youth football together.
That was quite a team they had. They only lost once in their time. Here's Moore. Bounces off a couple of tackles. He's close to a first down.
He looks like he's got an inspiration from Matt Perez. He's doing a nice job of the last 2 carries there.
He had a 10-yard carry. This one goes for 9.
This is really what they needed early on when we talked about that run-pass balance for them to stay in the game and to keep Maine South from dropping off the linebackers in the secondary, but it's come a little late. But you know, we still have 10:30 left.
Parrish doesn't do this often, and he will be a yard short of the first down.
Well, he's only carried the ball 72 times in 13 games, but he's thrown the ball 329 times. So that kind of tells you what he likes to do better, and that tells you also what Pat Dunn wants to do with him.
You need a yard here on 4th down. The pile surges forward.
I think they picked it up. Again, all year long, that offensive line for Marist has done a nice job. The center, Tom Mitchell, right guard, Steve Zajac, the right tackle, Brian Chaps, left guard, Brian Feldman, left tackle, John Sinich. They can't have the stats that they have if that offensive line isn't doing their job, and Marist's offensive line has done it all year.
Down the left side, and it's caught
Wow.
An excellent job out there by Nick Valla. Valla
6'3", that can do it. Nice jump.
28 yards on this reception. Here's Valley, he just takes it right away from Kevin Maloney. But this one may be coming back. Everybody's walking back here. Is that it? An ineligible receiver downfield?
I didn't catch the...
We'll get it from Bill Lawdy here in just a second. That'll wipe out the big 28-yard gain.
Unless it was incomplete. I don't see a flag.
Ineligible downfield.
Yes, there is.
Replay the first down.
Speaking of Nick Valla, he was the leading scorer in basketball on the sophomore team, and so he was going to play basketball exclusively. Then Pat Dunn, the head coach, came in. He took over, and Dunn had a heart-to-heart talk with Valla. Valla changed his mind, said, I'm going to play football, and he said it was a life-changing conversation he had with his head coach. And he gets it right back here. Not as deep as the last one, but he's to the 21-yard line and a first down.
He has got excellent mechanics, and when you see stats like this, you know that he's got to be quite a football player. He's got a very, very strong arm. He's also an excellent student. He's an A student in school, and he's a very smart quarterback.
Moore takes a hit, bounces off one, off another. Look at McKinley Moore inside the 10, running with a purpose.
Well, that's what he has done through the 13 games coming into this. He's kept that balance with the run for Mike Parrish and the Marist offense.
13 yards on that carry. First and goal, Redhawks. Parrish looking for Pico. Pico goes up. He comes down, and it's a touchdown.
They've done it all year long. Dan Pico, corner of the end zone, 6'2", over a 5'8" defender. Good throw, though. It's got to be on the money. Give him something to jump for. Great job. Great catch. Great throw.
There was nothing more that Cody Fallico could have done.
Well, he's 5'8", and he's going up against a 6'2" receiver, and that's exactly what that was designed to do, take advantage of those corners. That looks like McKinley Moore down.
For Pico, that's his second touchdown reception tonight. On the season, Pico now with 17. You talk about the grade point average of Mike Parrish. How about this team? 18 of their 22 seniors for Marist hold a GPA of 4.0 or better, including Pat Toohey, the student council president at Marist. Let's take another look at this pass, see what happens here to McKinley Moore. Ooh, he's bent back over, pass blocking.
Well, he was going to Dan Pico the entire time. There was no doubt about that. It's good to see McKinley Moore up.
Moore a factor in this touchdown drive that's cut the Maine South lead to 34-15. And again, Marist will go for two. They need to pick up some points in bunches here. You have Pico and Valla to the right side.
Option.
They option it to Skalitsky. Ooh. Did he get to the pylon or not? He knocked it down. There it is, a two-point conversion. There's the signal as Skalitsky looks up and says, how about it?
I'm glad that's not, a play to put you up by one or whatever, because that was a very, very close call.
Two-point conversion.
So Marist within now 17, 34-17. Skalitsky just getting in for the two-point conversion.
He is.
For the game. Well, now, Coach, with
what sports are like? Maine South head coach.
Okay. Well, now it even makes my question even more pertinent. Now are we looking at the onside kick with 9:21 left in a 34-17 game and the ball teed up the 45-yard line?
Yes, we are, because he's obviously could kick it into the end zone from here and give it back to him on the 20. They don't want to do that, so they want to punch it down there and hope that right now, of course, they will be going for the onside kick because field possession won't be a problem here.
Ball takes a high hop, and somewhere at the bottom of that pile, someone has the ball. If it's a red jersey,
they're still fighting for it,
including the men in the striped shirts. And it will be Marist football.
Boy, there's going to be some. There's a shot right there of Coach and Sarah. Trying to help the officials.
Now they'll send it the other way. One official signaled Marist, the other one says we're going the other way.
Well, let's not make a rush to judgment here.
That looks like a pretty definitive signal right there that it will be Maine South ball. Here it is.
It goes up high, and this is where he goes up in the air. Right here is where I thought the Marist was coming down with it. And nope, he dropped it. It's in the scrum now. A lot of bodies battling for that. Reminds me of the turkey at home with my 5 brothers. Shot at Dave and Sarah there. Happy to get that call.
It's a big call here with 9:18 to play.
Sure is.
Now Maine South, who has dominated time of possession by a 2-1 margin, will take over. Benz will carry for the 16th time tonight. And now some more pushing going on.
Tyler Benz, the ball carrier. Penalty flag on the play.
A little emotional here in the last few moments. Bill Lottie's had his work cut out for him tonight. This will be the 13th penalty of the night. An awful lot of folks on the far side of the field don't like the recent turn of events. This ball will...
After the play, personal foul, defense, results in a first down.
Had several of those calls here tonight.
We really have. A lot of yardage on penalties.
7 penalties, 55 yards for Marist, 5 for 53 for Maine South. Make it now 8 for 70 after that 15-yard penalty against the Red Hawks.
Trying to use a little bit of the clock.
Good burst into the hole for Perez. May have nudged across the midfield stripe.
He really has good acceleration up into the hole.
Now another flag thrown in from our referee from behind this play when everybody was down, and Ronnie Muck getting a talking to. I don't think Mr. Bill Lottie is real happy right now in his final officiating appearance in a high school game.
Certainly didn't look that way.
Both Bill Lottie and Jay Lyons, part of this crew we mentioned a couple of times, retiring.
After the play, personal foul, White.
He and Lyons now are part of the MAC conference. They're replay officials in that conference. You don't have to worry about all these unsportsmanlike conduct calls down on the field. Personal foul calls. We still have 8.5 to play in the 8A championship game. Maine South doubling it up on Marist right now, 34-17. Second and long. Benz will go down. It hasn't happened often tonight. But coming hard is Nick Dorgan. A loss of 6 on the play.
Nick Dorgan, a 6'4", 205-pound strong safety, coming in off the edge, was unaccounted for. Nice job. Good defensive call there.
It's the 11th tackle of the night for Dorgan. He has 2 tackles for losses and 1.5 sacks. Pretty good night for Nick Dorgan, the 6'4", 205-pound senior.
Marist plays good defense. And again, it's been Perez throughout the evening scrambling to make big plays.
He will not let Perez go inside.
Matt Perez, the ball carrier.
Be the 25th carry of the night for the senior.
.232 yards rushing, 25 carries, 4 touchdowns for Matt Perez. 5 catches for another 50 yards.
He's gone over the 2,000 mark, well beyond the 2,000 mark, up over 2,100 yards rushing this season.
Nice snap. Nice snap by Adam Mueller.
Sideways hop. And a flag down behind the play. There's only 3 people in the area. 3 of them are wearing Should say
40
3 red
yards on
jerseys,
that
1
punt.
white jersey.
There were penalty flags on the field.
And a couple of flags.
Bringing it back.
Illegal formation, kicking team. Personal foul, kicking team. Number 8, he saw two. Number 8.
Well, it's always good to know when the mic is on or the mic is off.
Well, we've lost a little rhythm to this game right now.
Illegal formation, decline. Personal foul. This way. How you doing?
All right, fellas, let's get it together here. Let's just kick and play football.
Yeah, we're getting an awful lot of penalties here winding down. But if they're penalties, then they need to be called.
That's right. This one away, a fair catch is called. There might have been a little bit of room to run. On the attempted return, Dave Perkle, a punt of 38 yards, 6:48 to play. Time to hear from your local sponsors. 34-17, Maine South on top of Marist. Now it's time for 6'4" Mike Parrish to start moving this ball downfield in a hurry. He'll go to the side. Heiko wanted to throw. He was looking for Bella, and now he does throw, and that just saves about a yard as he would have been dumped for a couple of yard loss.
Heiko's pass intended for
Bella
number
couldn't
80.
get free. Great coverage downfield by Maine South.
Well, they're playing those safeties pretty deep now, anticipating trick plays and anticipating them going deeper on some of these routes to get back in the ball game here with 6:42. Playing a 2 deep coverage.
Kinley Moore back in the game. He has good yardage. Moore, who left with an injury moments ago, has had himself a very fine second half. Moore 15 yards, make that 18 yards on that carry. He now has 58 yards and 7 rushes.
Good cutback by McKinley Moore. Good feed, good blocking at the point of attack by Mitchell, Feldman, and Zajac.
There's time, but Marist will need to score fairly quickly. They're going to try McKinley Moore again. Moore, yardage to the 32 of Maine South. He gets another 7.
Parrish hasn't thrown the ball as much as we anticipated. He's only thrown 23 times, completed 14 for 150 yards and 2 TDs, the longest being 34 yards. Normally he's thrown 30, sometimes 40 times a game.
The 32-yard line.
To the outside to Skolitsky, sheds one tackler and can't get any more. Ronnie Muck couldn't hang on.
But that was great reaction by Muck to come up and make that play. He was way off the ball in a 2 deep coverage, and that man was in the slot, and Muck came flying up and just did enough to slow him down and trip him up. I've been very impressed with Ronnie Muck. 6'1", 198-pound senior, strong safety, all over the field. It's like a linebacker playing defensive back. Good football player.
Marist fans not happy about much of anything right now.
Gee, the kid's only tying his shoe. That's a tough crowd.
Alex Spanos. We haven't really talked about Alex Spanos. He's the heart and soul of this team, according to Dave and Sarah. There's a pass thrown and a pass intercepted, and who has it but Tyler Benz. Second interception this game of a Mike Parrish pass. Benz gets one.
That shows you the kind of athlete he is right here. Perez trying to get the ball over the top of the linebacker, which he does, but he doesn't get over Tyler Perez. It's a tough DB at 6'3". There he is, a good shot of him right now. He's done a nice job tonight. 9 for 16 throwing the ball for 89 yards. Rushing the ball 17 times. Basically, those are scrambles more or less, but those are some tough 36 yards that he's picked up.
With 5:44 to play, Maine South the ball in a 34-17 lead, looking for their second consecutive state title. Benz to keep it. Dan
Ball's
Pico
on the ground. Ooh,
forces
so's the
a
official.
fumble.
Ooh, that hurt. Oh.
And who has the ball?
Everybody's trying to get brownie points, helping up the official right there. Ooh, he's hurt. Nope. He'll walk it off. Those officials are some tough guys there. They really are, being in the heat of all that action.
It's amazing that doesn't happen more often. Here's a look at it.
It really is. He gets caught up right at the end here. He gets knocked into it.
Well, the ball will stay in the hands of the Hawks from Maine South.
He's a tough man right there. It's kind of interesting, you know, you get a lot of booing for officials from one team or another on different calls, but keep this in mind. There could be no game if it were not for the officials. It would be utter chaos out there, and we would have nothing that would amount to any kind of a game whatsoever.
So after all of that, it is second down and 4. They give it to Perez. He carries for the first down out to the 24-yard line.
He's one of those backs that he doesn't look like a game breaker, but every time he touches the ball, based on past history, you can think he can bust one.
Perez, 5 feet 11 inches tall, 205 pounds. Dave Insera says he's the best player I've ever coached. In fact, Insera said he's only seen 2 high school running backs that were better, Rashard Mendenhall and Darren Evans, who came from Indianapolis in high school, now playing for Virginia Tech. And look out! Does he do it again?
Guess who?
It's a race!
Look at that speed.
Perez pulling away for the score! 76 yards! What a night! 316 yards and 5 touchdowns for Matt Perez. Wow!
What a way to go out. Just their cutback right here off of the play action look. It's just a cutback draw, and he shows the speed that most people really did not think he had. They thought he was more of a power back, but all year long he's been making plays like this, showing tremendous speed. Great run by Matt Perez. Wow, 27 carries, 316 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Make sure you go to IHSA.org to see all the records Matt Perez has set tonight. Longest run in 8A title history. You saw it right there. 4:27 left. Maine South that far away from their second consecutive state championship, thanks to number 32. Matt Perez was listed all week as day to day. Well, today is Matt Perez's day. 27 carries, 316 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's caught 5 passes for 50 yards. And Maine South leads 41-17. Enough said.
Up to their scoring average. 62 plays they've run for 452 yards of offense. That's quite a statistic. Very, very impressive high school football team. And Marist is a heck of a football team. They just ran into a buzzsaw.
Here's Perkle across midfield. Dave Perkle on the return. 33 yards on the kickoff return. That's one thing Marist has done a nice job of tonight. They've had some nice kickoff returns.
They really have. I want to take a quick moment here to interject something. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and we're all very grateful for an awful lot of things. We're at a great high school football game. I just want to throw out a thank you to all our servicemen that are all over the world in all branches of the service that are not here to be able to enjoy something like this, but they're defending all these kinds of things all out around the world for us. So a thank you to all of our servicemen in uniform from the United States of America.
Parrish being chased from the backside. A flag goes down just as Pico makes the catch near the 40.
Parrish's pass complete to Dan Pico.
Could be a push-off on that.
Play.
That flag has been around Dan Pico a lot tonight. And that will go against Pico.
Pushing off to get open. They've been a great combination all year, though. Mike Parrish and Dan Pico, and of course Nick Vala's been an outstanding receiver for him. They've had a great year, and it's been a great combination of throwing the ball all over the schoolyard here. But they, as we mentioned before, this Maine South is a special
offensive pass interference. Loss him down. Second.
Well, how about 90 receptions for a high school receiver? That's a lot of catches.
It certainly is, and it's not against poor competition. That's the other part to me that's really amazing. When you're in a conference that sends 7 teams to the state playoffs, you know that you're one heck of a football player.
Parrish will pick up his 16th completion of the night. That one will go to Luke Duffy, another 6'3" receiver. Well, one of the landmark moments, not for that man, tonight would be considered that. One of the landmark moments for Marist was when they defeated Joliet Catholic Academy. Pat Dunn thought, you know, that's a benchmark here for our program now. Here's Parrish, trouble. And the pass is incomplete.
Well, anytime you can beat a program of the magnitude of Joliet Catholic, obviously it's a feather in your cap. And that's when people started taking notice of them this year, that they had something special, which they do. It's not reflected tonight in the scoreboard, but they've had something special all year long. They've had an outstanding season, played by some outstanding high school football players.
Now, they have some great seniors that will be leaving, but you get the sense that Pat Dunn has something rolling over there at Marist High School. Good throw, the pitch back to Pico. He's going to go the other way. Here we are. This is more, and it's close to a first down. I like it.
How many times can you practice something like that? That was well orchestrated. That's the old schoolyard. Pitch, catch, pitch, pitch. Well done.
Gorski to Pico to Moore. It's a first down. Clock moving. Coming up 3:20 to play. Looking for 6. Did he come down with it? Jason Gorski there? No, instead it's the other way. Or is it? Incomplete. Mike DeVito thought he had a pick.
Pass is incomplete.
Well, you know, they always say, make the official make the call, so you can do the best acting you want. Parrish just throws the ball up in the air, hoping his taller receivers will come down with it. They almost do, and the ball bounces right into his hands right there. And, of course, the crowd is not real happy with that.
Parrish getting another chance. Again, he was looking for Gorski, but he was under pressure from the backside. You know who was applying the pressure?
I can't believe it.
Matt Perez.
He must have found Lourdes today that he was healed so quickly. It's amazing. Either that or I'd like to know who his doctor and the trainers for Maine South have done a fantastic job with him all week long.
Jerry Bornhoff's the trainer for Maine South, and Dave and Sarah was raving about the job that he had done on Matt Perez this week. Uh-oh, look out. This one could go the other way. Ronnie Muck. Muck still with it.
Ronnie Muck is running amok.
Parrish's pass intercepted by number 2, Ronnie Muck.
51-yard return.
Well,
Parrish.
he just jumped that one. He looked at it the whole way. He was thrown off his back foot. And right there, Muck comes up, makes the play, and down the sideline.
Mike Parrish had come into this game with just 8 interceptions on the season. He has thrown 3 here tonight.
Maine South has shown us everything tonight. Outstanding secondary play, great offensive line play.
Mike McGrath will get that carry. The #1 ranked team for most of the season.
McGrath, the ball carrier.
has shown you why here in the final game of this 2009 season.
It's very unusual a team that starts out ranked number 1 in the eyes of the coaches or the media can go the whole year and end up finishing that way, and with such fervor. I mean, they have really put on a show tonight.
Maine South was the only defending state champion to even make it down to Champaign this weekend. They're a little over 2 minutes away from going back to back.
Tyler Benz on the keeper. Tackled by 34, Jack Hinks.
Benz with that one, as we said, back up last year to Charlie Garrow. This has been his game tonight.
And the other bragging right that's going to go along with that, they'll end up, as it looks right now, as the undefeated 2-year reigning state 8A champ, and they'll throw along the fact that, oh yes, we also beat the 7A champion.
Ooh, good point.
They'll throw that point in there that we beat an outstanding Maine South team in the second game of the year. There's a lot of bragging rights for that Maine South team.
Room to the outside, and did he get in? That would be Justin Zerwanka, just short. Good wheels on that 5'9" junior.
Justin Zerwanka, the ball carrier.
And Dave and Sarah will.
They'll take that shower anytime.
Have to feel that for the next minute 28 seconds.
First and goal.
I think he's feeling it much right now, actually. Ball down at the 1.
They have put on quite a display tonight of all phases of the game. Running the ball, throwing the ball, playing defense. Outstanding job. Extremely well coached football team, as well as Marist. Both super high school football teams to be at this stage of the season.
Letting this play clock wind all the way down. Zerwanka.
Nope.
Well, he tried to reach for it.
Here gets another coach. I got to think it might be
Zerwanka on the carry. Stop for no gain.
Sneaking up on maybe Charlie Bliss. They already got in Sarah once. It is Charlie Bliss. Yep. And an ironic thing is he's a fireman. So
good point.
Putting out a fire right there, because he's been on fire all night long calling these offensive plays.
And he says, wait, I have to call another play.
Right.
I've got the ball on the half-yard line here. We mentioned Dave and Sarah. He had 3 straight second-place finishes, 03, 04, 05. Won a title last year. He's going to get another one here in a little over 20 seconds. But not a score.
And that's it.
Maine South, back to back. 14-0 in 2008, 14-0 in 2009. The Maine South Hawks do it again in dramatic fashion, in dominating fashion, 41-17 over Marist.
Well, there's a very dejected Marist football team, but they shouldn't be. They've had a tremendous season, and they just came up to an outstanding high school football team. There's a good shot at Pat Dunn and Dave and Sarah, both class coaches. Both have done a great job with their respective programs.
Tonight, Maine South, if you look at the numbers, you see the score at the top of your screen. Maine South on the ground, 51 rushes for 383 yards. They threw for 89 yards. Matt Perez, 27 carries, 316 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Well, the play that's amazing there is they ran 67 plays for 472 yards of offense and controlled the clock for 31 minutes in the ball game, as opposed to Marist having the ball for 16 minutes. That's an amazing statistic right there.
Tyler Benz threw the ball 16 times, completed 9 passes for those 89 yards. Mike Parrish finishes out his high school career for Marist. 17 completions and 30 attempts. He did throw for 181 yards and a couple of touchdowns, was intercepted 3 times. And that's a bunch of guys right there in those red jerseys. It's the second time in school history that their team has finished in second place. It was a team that, as you said, Jack, nobody really had on their radar until they defeated Joliet Catholic Academy. They come into the playoffs, even then a little bit unheralded, and then just march through the playoffs, get some dramatic victories, but they come up short here tonight. A person who did not is down the field right now with Aaron Bennett.
Guys, thanks. We're here with Maine South head coach Dave Insera, now a back-to-back state champ. Coach, how's that sound?
It's incredible. 28 in a row. These guys handle the pressure so well all year. I am so absolutely proud of them. More importantly, our coaches. I mean, just keeping them focused all year long. We love the pressure, but there is pressure. And these guys had nothing but a mission to prove that, they could outdo last year's team, and that was our saying for the year. Take it up a notch.
What can you say about the heart and the guts that Matt Perez showed for you guys tonight, and really all season long, and really all career long?
I was going to say, forget about tonight, all career long. I mean, the guy is a special ball player. We're going to miss him a lot. 2 rings, Matt. 2 rings on your finger for this team. What a special kid.
Coach, congratulations. Go enjoy it. Let's bring in our country financial player of the game. It is Matt Perez. 316 yards, 5 touchdowns in your final high school game. Headed to Indiana next year. Could you have scripted a better ending to your high school career?
I don't know. We kind of came away with the ring. It's the team. It's just it's what we've been working for all year, and we got it again.
You've been listed as day-to-day all week. Some big issues with some injuries kind of lingering for you. How are you feeling right now?
I'm a little sore, but Jerry, my trainer, he fixed me up great during the week and got 100%.
Matt, congratulations. Way to go. Back-to-back state champs. Tyler Benz is here, the quarterback for Maine South. A lot of questions coming into the season of how you guys, and you especially, would kind of step into Charlie Goro's shoes after he left. You did it, this team did it, and now you're state champs again.
It's awesome. We worked so hard for this. I put in pretty much my whole life working for this. I love this. This is awesome.
Way to go. Congratulations, guys. Maine South, back-to-back state champs. Back up to you.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Be careful down there. That's a bunch of very happy Hawks. Jack, again, a dominating performance by Maine South, worthy of 28 straight victories and 2 state titles.
Well, especially when you think that they started out the #1 team and they finished the #1 team, and it wasn't just on paper. Throughout the entire year, they proved to everybody that they are the #1 ranked team in the state by the competition they played, by how they played, by the versatility of their offense, run and throw, an outstanding defense, a very good kicking game, which they didn't have to use too often. But they're an exciting football team to watch. Marist the same way, an outstanding year, but they just ran up against a buzzsaw tonight.
And your final score, Maine South 41, Marist 17. Don't go away after these local messages. Our post-game show for the 8A final coming up next.
And now Dr. Garrett will present the second place trophy to the Red Hawks of Marist, who finished the season with a final record of 11 wins and 3 losses. Next will Superintendent Dr. Ken Wallace, Principal David Claypool, Athletic Director Stephen Adams, Coach David Insera, and the captains of Class 8A champion Maine South. Please join the presenters on the platform. Will present a special medallion to the administrators, and individual awards will be presented to Coach Insera and his team captains. Now, Mr. Klett will present this year's state championship Class 8A team trophy to the Hawks of Maine South High School, who finished the season with a final record of 14 wins and no losses. Van Zeck wins the awards presentation to the Class 8A championship game. The Illinois High School Association thanks you.
Well,
for joining your
congratulations to
team here at
Marist, their
Memorial
first
Stadium.
state championship ball game since 1986. Maine South back-to-back state championships, 28 straight wins. Congratulations to the Hawks. We're back in Champaign after this local timeout.
What did they have? 418?
470.
41-17, Maine South, the win in our 8A state championship game over Marist. The Hawks finish 14-0 for the second straight year. Lee Hall, Paul Parpet, Gary Corhonen here with you till the bitter end. 8 state championships decided here this weekend in Champaign, and we might have saved the best for last with Matt Perez. I didn't get the last stats. Over 300 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns. Both state records, no matter what class it is, Coach.
Matt Perez broke almost every offensive individual record that there was to be broken. He had a dominating performance, and the other thing is don't leave sight of the Maine South defense. It was a total team effort that allowed for Maine South to win their second straight state championship and David Sarah's 28th win in a row.
It was 316 yards, Coach, for Matt Perez.
Right. Yeah, Matt Perez, 316 yards, 5 touchdowns. What else can you say? I'd like to congratulate David Sarah for his second state championship. I'd also congratulate Pat Dunn for getting down here, doing such a great job. And also, I think the offensive line pretty much took this game over for Maine South with about 3 minutes to go in the half and the entire second half. And also, Mike Parrish and Dan Pico stepped it up well in the second half for Marist.
It's one of those things. Marist, as we mentioned, hadn't been here since '86. This is kind of the progression. You get to a state championship game, and then maybe you progress and win. And Maine South, they did that 3 years in a row, finished second, and now here they are winning their second straight state championship under Dave and Sarah, and a dominating performance tonight by the Hawks against a very good Marist team. We are back with some highlights from this 8A state championship game after this local timeout from Champaign. And we are back in Champaign. Maine South lining up for that championship picture with their second straight state trophy. Lee Hall, Paul Parpet, Gary Corhonen here high above Memorial Stadium. And we're going to take a look at the second half highlights from this game. And it's going to be an awful lot of Matt Perez. It begins 20-3 here in the quarter. Perez, 47 yards, virtually untouched, to give the Hawks a 27-3 lead. Now Marist would answer. Mike Parrish up top, 34 yards to Dan Pico. A 3-play, 58-yard drive. The extra point was no good. That made it 27-9. Then it's Tyler Benz stepping up with the pick for the Hawks. And then it was the Red Hawks actually getting a touchdown. Parrish to Dan Pico, their second hookup of the game. Great catch, right, Coach, by Pico, making it 34-17. Then it was Perez, 76 yards, 316 yards on the game for Matt Perez, 5 touchdowns, both state records, regardless of class. And then they call it the Gatorade shower because it's in a Gatorade bucket, but that's agua, and it's very cold. And David Sarah couldn't like it any better. His second straight state title, guys, and 28 wins in a row. That's impressive. Impressive stuff.
The one thing I was impressed with Marist is they continued to play the game. They didn't play the score. Marist can continue to compete. stay with what they've been doing all year long, and that's a tough thing to do, especially when you look up to the scoreboard and the clock is running down. So congratulations to Marist on another outstanding day. Had a great season.
And Coach, you look at Maine South, and it's becoming one of those programs that you expect good things from year in and year out.
Yeah, well, I experienced just a little bit back in '88 and '89. We were 14-0 2 consecutive years, and there's an awful lot of pressure going into that third year. And I think our winning streak got up to 34 games before we were defeated. There's going to be a little pressure on them next year, but it's a nice pressure to have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 28 straight wins for Maine South. They pick up their second straight state championship. Some final thoughts coming your way after this local timeout. Back in Champaign, the final state championship of the weekend goes to Maine South. Their second straight, 41-17 over Marist. And congratulations to Maine South, and that's pretty much going to do it for the weekend here from Champaign. For Paul Parpet, Gary Corhonen, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us and being a part of a great weekend of football. Thanks to our great crew, the guys and women behind the scenes, bringing it all home to you this weekend. It was a pretty short holiday for all those folks, so our thanks to them. Congratulations to all the state champions this weekend and the runners-up. It was a great weekend of football, a lot of fun for us. And a special goodbye to IHSA Associate Executive Director Dave Ganaway. This is his final football game with the IHSA. Dave, a former football coach back in the day, and he will be missed. He's a great guy and does a wonderful job with the IHSA. All our best to him in his retirement. And thanks again to you guys. We appreciate it. Thanks for making us look good today.
Thank you, Lee.
Sound like we know what we're talking about.
Thank you.
Good job, Gary.
Fine
Thank
gentlemen. Thank you for joining us from Champaign. It's always a pleasure to join you on the IHSA TV network. So long for now, and we'll see you in February from Illinois State University for the girls 1A and 2A state basketball finals. So until then, have a great holiday and a great winter, and enjoy your high school sports. So long from all of us here, the IHSA TV network.
Thank you. Great job, Gary.